All right, we've got the usual brake tapping around the downtown loop, especially eastbound South Loop over to 65. You're having to come to a complete stop there before you get to the South Loop, northbound 65. Eastbound 440, that's stop and go over to 24. Seeing the usual slowdown getting through the construction there at Goodlettsville, both north and southbound at 65. I'm Ken Weaver.
All righty, here we are, boys and girls, and here we go. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show underway for another day. Happy to be with you on this Wednesday, August 12, 2026. It's episode 1095. Thank you for being a part of as many of those as you possibly can. I've enjoyed almost every single one of them. It is day 567 of the Trump administration's second term in office. That's out of 1,460.5. We're on a variety of platforms. Let me tell you about all of that, tell you the players of the show that you'll be hearing from time to time, and get things lumbering under our own weight. We're on TuneIn, Spotify, and iHeart. Those are just 3 apps. There are many, many others. We have our own. You can download us at Supertalk 99.7 WTN and take us wherever you'd like to go. We're also on the radio dial at 99.7 FM from Kentucky to Alabama and all points in between. You can also find us on Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, present and accounted for there, and we appreciate your presence on those platforms if you so desire. A lot of people gravitating over to the television side of things for whatever reason, and we appreciate you. If you want to join in on the YouTube chat, you may do so. But when you go over to the TV side, do us a favor, add to our digital footprint, if you don't mind, by liking, subscribing, give us the old thumbs up. It's my understanding that we have a flow chart of exactly how much this is going to cost you. And I think Ken Weaver has that amount for today.
It's absolutely nothing, boys. Yeah.
Absolutely nothing, friends. That's a bonus. There's the voice of Ken Weaver. He's behind the glass in News Closet B. He gathers headlines for a living, delivers them twice an hour when it breaks. Hello, Ken.
How about you, boys?
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. We have a visit from Senator Marsha Blackburn today. How about
That's
that?
right.
Yeah, she's coming on in about 7 minutes or so. What we're going to do is run straight through to the bottom of the hour news.
Yes, sir.
And we do that in anticipation of hopefully Marsha calling in a little bit early so that we can get as much time as possible with her. We have her until 3:30, whatever time she does decide to call. And obviously, I've not had an opportunity to speak to her in some time, and so I'm looking forward to this chance. Now, this is our first opportunity to congratulate Senator Blackburn for being the candidate on the Republican side of the aisle for governor of the state of Tennessee. Hopefully it will not be our last, and we are going to work to set up an in-studio conversation in anticipation of the November election, which happens. It'll be here before you know it, guys. Less than 90 days before the November elections. Believe it or not, August to September, September to October, October to November. Yeah, less than 3 months. So right around the corner, as they say. If you have any last-minute questions you want to get in, 615-737-9986. Not on the phone lines, but on the super text line. That's the best way to get those questions to me quickly, and I will try to field as many of those as possible. I've already fielded some, as I announced this yesterday on the X machine, and I've noted some of your questions, and we'll ask as many of them as humanly possible. Obviously, we'll get as many out as we can, and we look forward to that conversation coming up in just a couple of minutes. Look who's here. It's Jackson Williams, Jay Willie, Y2J. He's the straw that stirs the proverbial drink.
Sir.
And we appreciate Jay Willie for showing up today. What's going on, Jackson?
Hey, buddy. Jackson.
Hey, look, there's not just one, but 2 full rounds of applause for you.
Sir.
Ken Weaver gave you one, and Matt Murphy gave you one as well. How about that? You're only on your 5th hour today, so no biggie, right? No big whoop?
I'm good.
Yeah? You've already done 2 podcasts today? And you got a big radio show to do, and I mean, you're as my grandpa used to say, you're as busy as a one-legged man at a butt kicking contest. There, nice. One-legged man at a butt-kicking contest. That's a busy fella.
Busy fella.
Yeah. Will Marsha be debating the Democrat candidate? Yes, Jason. That will be a question that we ask of the senator. I don't know that we'll. Who knows? I'll leave it to her to answer the question. But that is certainly a question that we will be asking. All right. A few other items that we will cover for you before we get to our conversation with Senator Marsha Blackburn. The White House announced. Actually, it was Donald J. Trump that announced that Caroline Leavitt is leaving as press secretary for the White House, deciding to spend some time with her new baby and family in the aftermath of the birth of child.
You knew that was coming.
Yeah, you kind of felt that was on the way, right? Donald Trump doesn't necessarily need a press secretary, it feels like. I think he could do these things himself.
Absolutely. He does every day anyway.
He does. It seems that's the case. But obviously, they'll find a replacement. Caroline Leavitt did a great job, though. Fending off what was oftentimes a very aggressive and anti-administration press.
She was steady.
She was a steady ship, boy. And she was missed when she was gone on maternity leave, and obviously will be missed in the aftermath of her decision to step down, hand it off to someone else so she can spend that time with family and friends. Speaking of the press, I've not talked about this a lot. We briefly mentioned it yesterday. I think we might have mentioned it Monday. The reaction that the press has had over the decision on the part of the Secret Service and others within inner circles of the administration to move Trump off of the flight in Turkey because of a credible threat from Iran. And the media's reaction to this is just delicious. Because their reaction is not one of understanding. Their reaction is not one to say, well, obviously the president of the United States of America is the most important person on that plane. Do you think the media believes that? I mean, you wouldn't think that if you read their reporting. They just seem to be very annoyed that they were not immediately told that there was a credible threat from the Iranians that necessitated the president making other plans and other travel arrangements. Who among you think that if the press had been informed that day, that it would not have been immediately leaked? Why in the world? I can't imagine why the Trump administration would not have informed the press of this potential danger aboard Air Force One, except that they knew very well that immediately someone within the press circles would have leaked the fact that the president left the plane, thereby ultimately destroying the entire purpose behind leaving the plane to begin with. It's just a masterclass in narcissism. Every time you think that Donald Trump's a narcissist, just look at the mainstream media and you'll realize who the true narcissists really are. Close personal aides, reports CNN, joined President Donald Trump aboard the smaller aircraft flying out of Turkey last month after he left. They said he snuck out of the larger plane, according to a person familiar with the arrangements. Several cabinet members remained on the Legacy Air Force One that flew on without him. The aides with Trump on the smaller plane included several people that you've never heard of, like Natalie Harp, an executive assistant who accompanies Trump when he travels. Dan Scavino, I know him, Deputy White House Chief of Staff, as well as a few other individuals. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth was also traveling with the president on the smaller C-32A that took off, while Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent stayed on the larger plane, which, by the way, is very well equipped to fend off any sort of emergency situation. All right, with that in mind, it's a wonderful opportunity for us to speak to a woman who I believe will be the next governor of the state of Tennessee. She successfully navigated the primary season with a successful victory, obviously, securing, I guess, about 45% of the vote. And we've not had a chance to talk to Senator Marsha Blackburn in some time, and it's always a pleasure to speak with her. Marsha Blackburn joins us on the radio program. Hey, Marsha, how are you?
I am doing great. I was just saying, I thought I was going to get to come in and be in the studio today, and I found out that I wasn't, that I was just in.
Well, you are always welcome, and we've got big plans. I want to get you into studio before November. How about that? Let's do it.
Well, that sounds like a winner to me.
Listen, I know that you're ready to, face forward and focus forward on the general election, and I don't blame you for that. Obviously, November will be here before we know it, but before we get into that, I think it merits just a brief look back over the primary, and many of my listeners, Marsha, want me to talk with you about your decision, your team's decision, not to engage in debates. Now, that's your decision, obviously, and I don't begrudge you making that decision, despite the fact that there have been many critics, myself included, over your choice not to debate. My question for you is, do you understand the people that are frustrated that you chose not to do that, at least? And can you help us understand why you made that decision?
Sure, absolutely. And every campaign, every candidate makes a decision about what is going to be the best use of their time and how they're going to be able to contact the most people and talk with the most people, the largest number of people. And for us, Matt, it was being in personal contact with people, putting our emphasis there. As you know, we had a very strong grassroots effort, knocking on doors, making those phone calls. We had lots of people that were working polls with us, and that's a choice that every candidate has to make.
And do you have any plans, or is it too early for you to make any decision regarding debating in the general election?
And what we will do is look at what is in front of us. You know, there's a lot of people. There's a Democrat and I think about 10 independents that are on the ballot in November. But let me tell you about the Democrat candidate. This is somebody who is a leftist. They are very much in line with this far left agenda. They're a radical. What we have seen from these DSA campaigns is that they would destroy the country. They would destroy our state. And people in Tennessee don't want that. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be working double, triple, overtime, making certain that our message is out there, that people recall that I stopped that state income tax. That is a big reason that our state has been as economically successful as it has been. And so we'll be out here working every single day, just like we were in the primary.
What, if anything, do you have to say to those, and this is one more question looking back in the primary, and then we'll look forward to the general. Sure. What do you have to say to those who chose to support either a John Rose or a Monty Fritz candidacy about the nature of your candidacy? How do you corral all of those folks back into the tent that is Marsha Blackburn's campaign for governor?
Yeah, and I think it's time to unite. And what we as Republicans and conservatives have to realize is that our movement is bigger than any one candidate or any one campaign. And in order for us to win in November, whether it is my race, our Senator Hagerty's race, our state house, state senate races that are going to be up, we need to all be on the same team. And I have talked with both John and Monty, and looking forward to having their support as we work toward victory in November.
Senator Marsha Blackburn, our guest today on the Matt Murphy Radio Show. One of the ways that you spent a good amount of money during the primary campaign, and some of your time, was to talk about China. And I understand the overall premise, but I'm a little confused because both you and Congressman Rose discussed China and preventing China from purchasing Tennessee farmland. And I'm a little bit confused because I thought we handled that situation in 2024 in the General Assembly. A law was passed preventing China from purchasing farmland. So what, if anything, further do you want to do as governor of the state to potentially prevent anything down the road?
Well, what we have to realize that China is a threat, whether we're talking economics, whether we're talking trade, whether we're talking they're trying to purchase our farmland. They are a threat. And we do have provisions that are on the books. And as we look at strengthening these provisions, it's, Matt, it's like several things that we have. We've got good provisions on the books, and we can strengthen those when it comes to illegal immigration, when it comes to issues around educating our children, when it comes to bail, another issue that we talked about. But China wants to control our lives. They want all the data that is on our phones. They are wanting to create a virtual you of each and every person. When you look at what they're doing economically, we've got a lot of businesses here in Tennessee that tried to manufacture with China. And what did China do? They stole their intellectual property. We have entertainers. What did China do? They stole that intellectual property, and they have made those knockoffs. Look at what they've done to Gibson Guitar. Look at what they're doing, coming in here, using shell companies, buying up property, and going to do God knows what with that. So, of course, China is a threat, and we're smart to be aware of it and smart to close off any avenue that they're using. I'll say this also. These Confucius Institutes that all of our universities in the state have now ended those, and most of our schools have ended these Confucius classrooms. This is propaganda. You look at the way they are using soft propaganda, and Matt, the thing is, they admit it. They admit that that's what they're doing. When you look at the Sister Cities programs, we've got one city in Tennessee I know that partners up with China on the Sister City program. But you know what they say about those? They are using that as soft propaganda. And when you participate with China, they want you to honor Chinese law. Well, a lot of countries have outlawed being in these partnerships with China.
Should we look into businesses that have relationships with the Chinese government in terms of ownership?
Absolutely, 100%.
Because it's my understanding that the General Assembly had a bill last year that got killed. You would be supportive of relooking at that and looking at ways that we can eliminate Chinese ownership of Tennessee businesses?
Absolutely, we should. And, whether it's the farmland, whether it is buying these businesses, and like I said, part of the problem has become that they use these shell companies. And if you insert applying that CFIUS process, which is a federal process, to make certain you're ferreting out these companies that are hiding behind this shell and then trying to come in and buy these different companies. Look at what they do. They come in, they buy, a company gets bought, and they say, oh, there are going to be no changes. Well, lo and behold, a year down the road, there are changes, and they begin to shrink the size of that manufacturing. Then it shrinks over the next year or so, and before you know it, it's over in Beijing or Shanghai or somewhere, and you don't have any of that manufacturing domestically. And I'll tell you this is one of the things that President Donald Trump has done a good job of saying, let's repatriate this manufacturing, whether it's additive manufacturing, advanced manufacturing, component part manufacturing, electronics. Let's repatriate this to the United States so we bring these jobs back on shore.
One quick question, Senator, about your Senate role, and then I want to move on to a few questions about your government or your role as governor of the state. You participated in, it's my understanding, several of these pro forma Senate sessions so that the Senate does not ever officially go into recess. Can you help me understand what the purpose of those sessions were? Because it felt like it was to prevent Donald Trump from appointing recess appointments. And I just want to understand what the purpose of those pro forma sessions were.
Matt, I haven't presided over any of those pro forma.
So you haven't been a part of it? Okay, but well, I have
not. I was one of the 20 that said we should stay there all of August. But I have not presided over a single one of those.
Do you support those pro forma sessions?
No, I thought we should have stayed there. And when we recess, we should recess. Every president has the opportunity during recess to make those appointments.
Do you?
Whoever told you that?
Okay. Well, very good. Well, thank you. Thank you for disabusing me of that notion. Do you regret your support of Majority Leader Thune?
The Senate is going every 2 years to pick a leader. I had supported Rick Scott, and Rick is a part of what we have as our steering committee, which is the conservatives in the Senate. It is Rick Scott, it's Ron Johnson, Ted Cruz, Mike Lee, Cynthia Lummis, Ashley Moody, and me. And we're the executive committee for steering committee. Okay. And I had supported Rick, and he was our guy. He didn't win. And then you have John Thune, who won.
Let's talk data centers. I mean, obviously, this goes to the heart of your comment about China, and I understand that data centers have become a big deal for a lot of people, and I compare them kind of to the dump. Marsha, that everybody knows we need one. Everybody knows we need to put our trash somewhere and to safely dispose of our trash, but nobody wants it near us. And I feel like data centers have become the modern version of that. But they are also necessary because the data has to be stored somewhere. And in the modern era, we all utilize them whether we know it or not. What is your position as governor of the state of Tennessee on the data center debate?
Yeah, and I liken data centers to very much what the factories of 100 years ago were. And we've got counties and cities in the state that want them, and we have areas that that do not want to have them. So most of this is going to be a local zoning issue. And you're right, the data has to be stored somewhere. You cannot have it end up in Beijing, and you don't want the Chinese to have it. You don't want them to build a virtual you of you and your family and following your kids. And you're going to see the opportunity for the state to weigh in. I think that having a state-level ratepayer protection plan for electric rates, this is something that President Trump has wanted to do federally, as we have looked at AI frameworks and protections for people, but protecting communities and consumers from those high electric rates if a data center comes in. That is something that we need to pass. Jack Johnson and I have talked about the need to do that. Also, I've worked with some, and Stuart McWhorter's been great on this. We need to have some process in place that would be a certification of certain metrics you need to hit for areas to house data centers. I don't know exactly what that is going to look like, but just as we have looked at different manufacturing opportunities that have come in the state, we need to have that certified process so that you can say this would be a certified area. This is a community that wants it for these reasons, and they have met these state metrics that would make it a certified location.
Several of your friends who have acted as surrogates for you, I know your Treasury Secretary during the primary, Glenn Jacobs, as well as Tim Burchett, a great congressman from over in the Knoxville area, have come out and have publicly stated their objection to flock camera technology and their concerns about flock camera technology. Do you share those concerns, and can you tell us what your current position is on this and what it would be as governor?
Yeah, of course we're very concerned about anything that would lead to 24-hour-a-day surveillance, absolutely. And you look at the LPRs, and law enforcement says we need those license plate readers. But I'm going to tell you what, Matt, we cannot have anything that leads to like what the Chinese have done with these social credit scores. To me, that is a very frightening thought. And I was talking with somebody earlier today, and we were talking about this issue. And, of course, I think this is something where you're going to see local governments weigh in. I think the state's going to have the opportunity to weigh in. Using these for surveillance is already a felony offense, but obviously there is something more that is going to have to be done, because we do not want anything that would ever lead to that kind of infringement of an individual's privacy.
Number one, and I know we only have a minute or two left, but number one priority, should you be the 51st governor of the state of Tennessee? I mean, I'm looking at so many different issues. You mentioned bell-to-bell, no cell. That's a continuation of an effort to get the technology out of the hands of the students and get them back to book learning. We've got infrastructure backlogs of, it's my understanding that road and bridge backlogs are about $40 billion now. What would your priority be? What's priority number one that comes to mind, Marsha?
Priority number one, coming from the people of this state, is the issue of affordability and making certain that the cost of living gets under control, that housing is going to be affordable. And I've got some thoughts about things we can do when it comes to achieving affordable housing and trying to get some builders into the state, trying to get some property that we can use. We want, Matt, for me, and you know how I feel about opportunity for young people. We want Tennessee to be the state of opportunity. We want this to be the state where young people say, that's for us. That is where we're going to go. And it means we've got to have housing that is affordable, that we've got to have jobs that are going to pay the type wages that are going to be necessary for these young people to have and grow their families here, to build their careers here, to someday retire here, to have their children want to come back to Tennessee. And looking at how we can do that, how we can increase the housing, how we can get this cost of living down, that is the number one issue. It is followed closely by public safety. And the third thing is education, world-class education for kids in every county across this state.
Well, I know we're just scratching the surface. I look forward to many of these conversations moving down the road. One final question from me today, and then we'll let you go. Senator, what as you're about to retire your service within the Senate in the federal government, and I think move on to be the governor of the state of Tennessee. I think most of us believe that. What are you proudest of in terms of your Senate service?
Oh, my goodness. We have served the people of this state so well. And getting to be in every county in this state every year has just been an amazing opportunity, working with people, solving their problems. This is something that I absolutely treasure. We are a great state with great people, and the work we've done protecting children, Kids Online Safety Act, and I was thrilled we got that out of the Senate. Making certain that I was able to achieve that provision in the big, beautiful bill last year that took the federal income tax off of Social Security earnings for most of our citizens. That was enormous. We had thousands of Tennesseans that used that provision. So those are things that we've done a lot of work on and have loved working with Tennesseans every single day.
Well, congratulations on the primary victory. Look forward to November. Look forward to many conversations from now until then. And thank you for spending a bit of time with us today, Marsha.
Oh, appreciate it. Take care. Bye now.
All right. Take care. There's Senator Marsha Blackburn joining us. We'll get some thoughts on that conversation. Obviously, did not scratch the surface on infrastructure, did not scratch the surface on education, the Education Freedom Scholarship, wanted to talk about usury rates in the state of Tennessee. I mean, there's so many different things that we could talk about, just out of time. 34 after the hour. We'll continue in a moment on Super Talk.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Drivers, we have a crash in Jordonia right there, Briley Parkway southbound at Ashland City Highway. Then just the normal brake tap and stop and go in the usual places. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. We're learning more about the hot car death of a toddler in Cheatham County yesterday. Channel 4's Steve Mailing says the child was left in the care of a teenager who was also taking care of an infant and didn't know when the toddler had left the home and got into the broken down van on the property.
Now, I spoke with an advocacy group who specializes in kid deaths in cars, including hot car deaths, where I learned kids gaining access to a vehicle happens more often than people may think.
This case mainly reflects 25% of the cases that we see where children gain access to the vehicle on their own, whether that have been because they found a key fob or the vehicle was unlocked.
And the organization tells me they see about 40 child deaths in or around vehicles a year. And they say that they've seen hot car deaths happen as with the outdoor temperature being as low as 60 degrees.
Now, the family is said to be devastated. The investigation continues. Severe weather, meanwhile, to blame for at least one fatality in Indiana today. Governor Mike Braun prepared to issue an emergency declaration statewide.
This is just one of those straight line wind events that's covering probably nearly a third of our counties. Normally, a tornado will be on one or two.
According to the latest numbers from the government, inflation cooled slightly, dipping by 0.1 of a percentage point, 3.5 to 3.4 from June to July. But it wasn't enough to reverse the high prices seen in some sectors like groceries, transportation, or services. We get more from ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
There are other parts of the economy where prices are stubbornly high, and that's in the services area. So, for example, medical care, childcare, daycare, those costs are still rising at a faster pace. That's where a lot of people feel it in their day-to-day budgets. Electricity bills, another example of that.
So childcare running about 1.7% above year-ago levels. Medical care prices rose 0.4% from June, while medical services are up 2.7% from a year ago. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, we got crashes to contend with. One car crashing, blocking the northbound right lane of 65 northbound right there before Thompson Lane. Another one right before you get to the North Loop. It's going to be 65. Actually, it is on the North Loop, but it's going southbound on 65. You got the southbound center lane of 4 lanes blocked. So is the shoulder. Several vehicles piled up in that crash. And then it is brake tapping, stop and go, both directions. East Loop downtown, westbound 40 between downtown and the 440 split, eastbound 440 to 24, and then eastbound 24, brake tapping all the way down to Harding Place. I'm Ken Weaver.
Don't tell me how I feel about the weather, buddy. Hey, friends, it's King and Associates Insurance. Let me tell you how you should feel about your insurance. If you don't have King and Associates Insurance, you should feel weird about it because your home and your automobile, 2 of your biggest investments, need to be protected by somebody that cares. And King and Associates, well, they care. They care about you. If you're a first-time homeowner, a growing family, or shopping for better automobile rates, they make it simple. No pushy salespeople, honest advice, personalized service, policies that make sense. They're local, they're independent, and they work for you, not the big government, not the big insurance companies, or the government for that matter. Visit tkinginsurance.com. That's tkinginsurance.com, or call 329-8121. That's 329-8121 for our friends at tkinginsurance.com. King and Associates Insurance, protecting what matters most. Hi, friends. Matt Murphy for Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. Folks, I just want a health provider that I can call and get an appointment quickly, that I can get into, that I don't have to wait around in the waiting areas when I actually get to the facility, that I believe is there to help me, not to serve an insurance company, not to serve any other third party, but to serve me and to help me feel better. Whether it's getting to the root cause of a problem or addressing an issue, or maybe it's even bringing my kids in for a sports physical, and they're still doing those until, for the next couple of days, until Friday. Friends, Grace Point Healthcare is that company. It's affordable, convenient, and modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. Ask about their Smart Care plan. Ask about the $99 a month charge, where you get unlimited office visits throughout the course of the year, plus basic labs and diagnostics provided to you. And you can pay this through your HSA, which means there's no out-of-pocket expense. They treat everyone in the family from newborns to seniors. That are located very conveniently in Franklin, Tennessee, and they want to see you, and I want you to give them a call. 599-6868, 599-6868. Modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, this is my list, and I had I asked her the question about the pro forma session because I I had an article that had listed Marsha Blackburn as a part of the pro forma individuals, and now I'm looking at another list that does not have her there, and I strive for accuracy. There's plenty of things that we can talk about without making things up. So the list that I'm now looking at, Senator John Bozeman of Arkansas, Pete Ricketts, Senator James Langford, Senator Ron Johnson, Senator Steve Daines, Senator Ashley Moody, Senator Josh Hawley, Senator Mark Armstrong, Senator John Barrasso, Senator Chuck Grassley, and Senator Jerry Moran. Those are the senators I have presiding over pro forma sessions. I thought Marsha was in that list, and she's obviously not. She answered the question. So just want to be as accurate as possible. And apparently those are the senators that are provided. Why is that important? Because Donald Trump is I can't get a straight answer as to why they're doing that. I don't understand why they're doing that. You have a president of the United States that wants to engage in recess appointments. Those recess appointments can kind of get the bottleneck backlog of judges out of the way. And one would presume that if you get recess appointments in, it perhaps would be easier to get them permanently confirmed by the United States Senate. For whatever reason, John Thune decides to have recess pro forma sessions that would prevent official recess from happening, giving the President of the United States the ability to appoint those. Apparently, Marsha was not a part of that. And so we correct the record. Your thoughts, 615-737-9986. Tom is first up. Hey, Tom, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing fine, man. I love the show.
Thank you.
When I tuned in and I was listening to her, you were asking her about, oh, God, I forgot what it was. But, man, she sounded like Kamala Harris. She was just going round and round and round and not answering anything that was about your question. No, it's about the debate, about why she didn't debate. And she's not answering it. I mean, that was just such a political answer, but I guess that's why she's been in politics for so long. And then as a Nashvilleian for the last 30 years, she didn't get the income tax thing. Phil Valentine is the one that got the income tax thing stopped.
Well, Marsha Blackburn, and Tom, I'm not going to argue with you about it. I spoke to Johnny B about this issue. I mean, Phil's no longer with us. Johnny B was on the show a couple of weeks ago. Johnny B was a part of all of that. And Johnny B unequivocally says that Marsha Blackburn was 100% crucial to stopping the income tax. Now, you cannot like Marsha. So I wasn't here, and so I rely on those who were, and I trust Johnny B implicitly, and he says that she was the one that made the call that alerted Phil so that Phil could get the word out to get people down to the Capitol to honk their horns. So, I mean, I think both things can be true. I mean, you can not support Marsha now and recognize that she was very much a part of that then, but that's just the information that I got. So,
I appreciate you straightening me out, and I love Johnny B, and Johnny B said that. I mean, because Johnny B and Phil were together for a long time.
That's right.
I know that's right. All right, thank you for my
All right, brother. Thank you. I appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not arguing with Tom. I'm just trying to keep it straight, right? And apparently, according to everyone involved that I trust who were there, obviously Marsha did most certainly have a lot to do with the income tax deal, and a lot of people use that as an example of why Marsha is right for the post of governor of the state of Tennessee. As far as the answer on the debate, I mean, asked and answered. I asked her if she understood why people were frustrated. People like myself were frustrated over her decision not to debate. She said she did understand it, but that at any point during every political campaign has to decide how to most wisely use their time. That is her answer. I mean, it is what it is. She decided that a debate was not the wisest use of her time. And she'll have to decide whether or not that's the case as she faces off against Jerry Green and some of the other independent candidates that are in the race. Mike is next in Mount Pleasant. Mike, thank you for your call. How are you?
I'm doing good, sir. How's your day going?
Man, I'm great. I'm doing well.
Good. Hey, I watched a thing last night about the flock cameras. And it was about a particular couple people. One person, they had flagged his car tags over 97 times, and the cop even told him when he went on vacation, where he went on vacation, and when he got back. That is a scary thought.
Well, it's most certainly a scary thought, and we don't need that type of surveillance state in Tennessee or anywhere in the United States of America, obviously.
Well, I mean, it was so ridiculous that every time he went to town, this one particular cop was meeting him as he entered town and even followed him. Now the block has got it blocked where that you can't look up and see who the police officer was that looked at your movement, your car tags, but that there was a notification or whatever to look at and see where your vehicle was at.
Yeah, so the bottom line I will say on this, Mike, is that LPRs and what they are able to do with new flock technology are completely different things. LPRs required affirmative input. In other words, if we're looking for someone specific that's on a silver alert or somebody that, is accused of something or another, carjacking or whatever it might be, you can input specific numbers into a system, and then they can flag when they see, or if they have seen those numbers in the recent past. This overall surveillance state is a very, very different matter, and obviously it's something that we all should be very concerned about, and hopefully the General Assembly is taking it very seriously. I got to scoot along. One thing that I want to note too, apparently Marsha was a part of, and just in the effort to clean up the rest of it, Senator Blackburn had agreed, along with Haggerty, Britt, Young, Schmidt, Tuberville, Graham, Moody, Banks, Rick Scott, and Mike Lee to have no recess in August. It would have taken a lot more senators in order to accomplish that, but she was one of the ones that went on the list as to eliminate recess and to get back to work in an attempt to pass the Save America Act. And so it is, I suppose, to Marsha's credit that she was on that list. It was not successful, obviously, as a majority of the Republicans decided that they were going to continue their August recess and get back to work at some point down the road. I guess they were able to confirm the Attorney General of the state, or the Attorney General of the United States, Todd Blanche, last week. So that's just a quick note as well. 53 after the hour. Your thoughts on our conversation with Senator Blackburn, 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. It's The Murphy Show. Hey, friends, Matt Murphy for Eurofix. One of the marks of a good parent, they warn their kids about danger, and they try to help their kids make smarter choices. They do the same thing with you at Eurofix, right? They believe in warning their customers of the danger of overpaying for European auto repair, and they make things right. They're not perfect. They're just as honest as the day is long. I love telling the story about Aaron Stokes cutting a check to a customer for over $5,000, a refund check. Why? Because Eurofix polices themselves. Not every auto shop does, but they certainly do at Eurofix. They make quality repairs at below dealer pricing and have since 1999. A free 15-minute no-wrench inspection, a 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty, and all the work that they perform. Rental cars available with every appointment. Friends, stay on the road and off the tow truck with Eurofix. 844-EUROFIX, 844-EUROFIX, or online at myEurofix.com.
4 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Heat advisory extended until Sunday night. Feels like temperatures could exceed 105 degrees each day this week. Right now at the airport, it's 92. The heat index is under 100. It's at 98. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Election 2026, Tennessee Republican nominee for Governor Marsha Blackburn telling WTN's Matt Murphy Show.
Priority number one, coming from the people of this state, is the issue of affordability.
And
I've got some thoughts about things we can do when it comes to achieving affordable housing and trying to get some builders into the state, trying to get some property that we can use.
among her key affordability-related positions is reducing barriers to home construction by simplifying permitting and reducing regulatory obstacles to building homes. And we're learning more about the hot car death of a toddler in Cheatham County yesterday. Channel 4 says the child was left in the care of a teenager who was also taking care of an infant. The teen didn't know when the toddler left the home and then got into a broken down van on the property and couldn't get out, found several hours later and perished. And get a load of this story out of Arizona. Alex Stone says a couple facing child abuse charges for walking with their children in 108-degree temperatures for hours while drunk.
Glendale, Arizona police say the couple had been at Arizona Cardinals training camp. They were intoxicated and decided to walk home with their two young children, 2 and 4 years old. The husband and wife were found walking with their children in 108-degree temperatures and allegedly said they had been walking for about 3 hours. Glendale police say the children appeared dehydrated. Police say the dad was combative and belligerent. Both parents were arrested and charged with child abuse. Alex Stone, EBC News.
Well, thousands gathered in Iceland today to watch the first total solar eclipse in that country in over 5 decades. ABC News foreign correspondent Maggie Rulli at Iceland's Blue Lagoon describes what she says was a breathtaking event.
It is unbelievable. We are now in totality here at the Blue Lagoon in Iceland. It's kind of indescribable. It's otherworldly to be surrounded by these lava rocks in Iceland in the pitch black of night in the middle of the day, to see it go like that in seconds.
Entertainment news. Rod Stewart calling off the remaining dates of his one last time farewell tour after undergoing a routine coronary stent procedure. The 81-year-old singer recently postponed and canceled several shows while getting medical treatment. His publicist says doctors are pleased with his recovery, but Stewart will take the next 4 weeks off to recuperate, says he's feeling better, on the mend, looks forward to returning to the stage soon. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Berry Hill got a crash blocking the right lane, 65 northbound past Armory Drive. Then over on the west loop, a crash blocking the Gore. Everything's open there, but still slow going because of the scene there. 65 southbound there at 40 west, exit 84AB. And Bellevue, we got a crash on Old Hickory Boulevard right there at 40. Whites Creek, an injury crash. Whites Creek Pike, south of Briley Parkway. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. My name is Matt Murphy. This is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Would love to get your calls in, 615-737-9986. Anything on your mind if you'd like to reflect on the conversation that we had. It was about, 20 minutes or so of good conversation with Senator Marsha Blackburn. Obviously not scratching the surface of some of the subject matters that we wanted to get into, but hopefully we hit the more important ones. We discussed with her, first question out of the gate was, obviously the debate question, and then we went from there. I'll have more to say on that in just a moment, and more to say on the gubernatorial election at large coming up in a moment or two as well. 615-737-9986, 615-737-9986 this Wednesday edition. Don't forget Cameron Smith joins us in the latter portion of the show. And if you missed any of our conversation with Senator Marsha Blackburn, we haven't spoken with her in so long. Obviously, hopefully we will have ample opportunity to speak with her during the general election, but we will re-rack that at 6:35 this evening. So 6:35, if you missed the sit-down with Marsha Blackburn, then that's coming back up at that time. So I got some bad news, boys. And I know that it's going to break a lot of hearts when I tell you this. Congressperson Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has announced that she has split with her longtime fiancé, Riley Roberts. It's tough. Tough to take, tough to say. She was the longtime fiancé of Riley Roberts. And apparently, if you're going to run for president of the United States of America in 2028 and you want to be as woke as possible, then you cannot face your white privilege every moment of every day. Every time you go home, you cannot look white privilege in the face, and I suppose that it is part of the decision-making, at very least, for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to split up with her now former fiancé, Riley Roberts.
So does this mean she's going to have to get out of that ice bath she was trying to freeze her embryos in?
Well, I don't know. I mean, so are these two things related? I love that you go there because that's where I was going. So it was just a couple of days ago that she announced this embryo freeze, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and then she announces that she has split up with her longtime fiancé, and she apparently did that before she froze her eggs.
Oh.
Yes.
I thought she was in the process.
Yeah, according to TMZ. And
they're usually pretty credible.
And listen, you say what you will. TMZ breaks a lot of news.
They do.
There's a reason Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez did not mention her fiancé, Riley Roberts, when she talked about freezing her eggs. According to TMZ, they confirmed that, they broke up. Apparently, they broke up 2 years ago. Look, I'm just telling y'all. This is how little the media cares about how Democrats act, right? They just give them a complete pass. I mean, a Republican breaks wind on the floor of the Congress, and you're going to know about it from every media outlet. known to man, but, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. So she apparently split roughly 2 years ago, called off their engagement. That, according to the chief Washington correspondent, Leanne Caldwell from Puck, whatever organization that is, who was first to report of the couple's demise. Multiple sources on Capitol Hill tell TMZ that it felt like ages since the pair were seen together publicly, not hyperbole. Raleigh and AOC were last photographed at the Met Gala in 20 and 21. Well, good gracious. About a year later, in May of 2022, the Congresswoman confirmed she and RR were engaged. They're done, but no word on exactly when the engagement went belly up. AOC announced this week that she is freezing her eggs and documenting her journey, which she described as daunting. She also made zero mention of Riley during her first video about the process. AOC's representation currently has no comment on any additional information involving the breakup. So I guess for Bell, Bell K's on the record as saying that he's very attracted to AOC. So there you go. I mean, got a shot at it, buddy. Maybe Bell can donate some, sperm for the. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she's just freezing the eggs, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think she's created embryos. I really don't know how any of that works. So I couldn't speak to it, but I would assume that she's simply freezing. I mean, what is AOC now, Ken? She's perpetually 28 to me. I'm going to guess.
We got to look that up, Brother Murphy.
I bet she's 36.
Haven't thought about that. Let's see.
Bet she's 36.
How old is Alexandria
Ocasio-Cortez? Fine Corinthian leather. Every time I say her full name, I think of Ricardo Montalban. I do. And I hope that y'all do too.
Brother Murphy, you nailed it.
36?
36 years old.
There you go. So she'll be on her way to 40 by the time she runs for president for the first time. Maybe the last time. I don't know. But I guarantee you she's running in 2028. I'd bet money on it. A lot of money on it. Every time I say, AOC just rolls off the tongue. But when you say Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I think of Ricardo Montalban. And what car was he? Was it the Lincoln Continental? Jackson, this is before your time, young man. But Ricardo Montalban, I guess right before or during his time on Fantasy Island, which is also before your time.
Great show.
Oh, boy. This is Fantasy Island.
Tattoo.
The plane. But his best role, obviously, is Wrath of Khan, right? I mean, come
boy.
On. Oh, my goodness.
I couldn't stand to see him in that role because I liked him so much as Mr. Rourke.
Oh, man. He got all buff.
He did.
For the Wrath of Khan, boy. And let me tell you something. He was very upset with Captain James T. Kirk.
Yes, he was.
He did not like being left on City Alpha 5.
No, sir.
For the length of time. This is City Alpha 5. With my last dying breath, I speak upon thee. Oh, my God. That's a great. Y'all, if y'all have never seen it, the last moments of Khan's life, boy. Revenge is a dish best served cold. And it's always cold in space.
So he sold horses and buggies for Lincoln back before cars?
So, I think it was Lincoln Continental that he was selling a Continental or some sort of vehicle, and he was promoting the fact that it had leather. Now, Ken, have you ever looked into the Corinthian leather?
I have not.
It doesn't mean anything. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything.
It's just leather.
It's just leather. But they knew if Ricardo Montalban looked at you in the eye and told you that it wasn't just leather.
Yes.
It was fine Corinthian leather. Corinthian leather, which it would come from cows from, Corinthia. And that's like an island. So I looked this up one time. It's like an island off the coast of Greece or something or another. It doesn't really mean anything. Anyway, every time I think of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I think of Ricardo Montalban.
Fine Corinthian leather.
The fine socialism in Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Anyway, she's
Yeah, it was the Chrysler Cordoba.
What is that? What it was?
Yeah, this was
Chrysler.
picky.
The Chrysler Cordova.
Chrysler Cordoba with Corinthian.
The Chrysler Cordova. Look at how well appointed with the Corinthian leather. Oh, power seats. Are you kidding? I'll find the ad.
Yeah, we got to do that.
Yeah. So AOC's on the market. I can't imagine.
AOC's on the market.
I can't imagine that she's going to have trouble finding a fella.
What if she's already got a fella? What if she's been two-timing that fella?
Is she?
What if she has?
Well, maybe.
TMZ would know.
Well, TMZ would know, and I don't know that they. Let's see. They've confirmed that she has split with her fiance. I just like saying it that way.
I know.
Remember, Jackson, have you seen the fabulous motion picture? Oh, this might be on my list this week, boys. Raising Arizona is the funniest comedy ever in the history of comedy. I mean, no, it is right up there. I cannot tell you a comedy that I think is more quotable or funnier than Raising Arizona.
It's right up there with Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Oh, my God. Jax, Raising Arizona. Nick Cage is in it. John Goodman's in it.
Holly Hunter.
So why do you say you feel trapped? Kid, don't make me laugh. Why do you say you feel trapped inside of a man's body? Well, sometimes I get the menstrual cramps real hard. Jackson's look. Jackson, this is perfect. Jackson, who's never seen the movie, is looking like every person listening to this show is looking
right now.
Right now, if they've never seen the movie.
Right.
It's a group therapy session in a prison, and this guy, this big bulky guy, says that he feels trapped inside of a woman's body. Or inside of a man's body. He's a woman trapped inside. Why do you say that you're a woman trapped inside of a man's body? And his answer was, well, sometimes I get the menstrual cramps real hard.
Man, the Coen brothers are genius.
Anyway, what's the matter with you, Ed? My fiance left me. Well, Ed, you tell him that he's a damn fool, Ed. You tell him that I said he's a damn fool, and if he wants to find me, he knows where I'm located.
Her name was Ed.
Her name was Ed. Don't forget his profile, Ed. Anyway, AOC's back on the market, y'all.
She's on the market.
So, I mean, good luck to all of you. Hey, Jackson, 36.
There you go, Brother Jackson.
Get yourself a little older woman. You just have to pretend to be a socialist. Y'all need to call Jackson and wish him a good day. Jackson's having a bad day today. Oh, wait. Would that make it worse?
That might make it worse.
Y'all call Jackson up and tell him how much you love him. He needs to hear that today. He's having a rough day today. And I'm making him cut up the interview for the 6 o'clock hour until he's got extra work to do. Speaking of extra work to do, the Metro Council, as if they don't have enough to do, is being sued for no reason whatsoever, and I'm going to explain it to you. D.C. blocked, and I say no reason whatsoever because none of this needs to be happening. D.C. Blocks is suing the Metro Council over its attempt to block the company from developing a data center near the Nashville Zoo. Metro has implemented zoning restrictions and a data center moratorium and approved Mayor Freddie O'Connell's use of eminent domain to seize the property D.C. Blocks purchased to to convert into a data center. In the lawsuit, the company says the property it bought when it was previously used by a previous company had data center functions. Metro issued permits that referenced the data center operations to the previous owner, according to the lawsuit. This is a story out of the Tennessee Star. The company says Tennessee law safeguards specific existing use when zoning regulations change. DC Blocks has purchased the property. They did so in November of 2025 for approximately $23 million. That is below the retail value or the listed appraised value of the property. I think Courtney Johnston told us yesterday that the listed appraised value was somewhere in the $32, $34 million neighborhood, something like that. But they bought it for $23 million. They've spent large sums of money since then on engineering, architecture, utility coordination, environmental work, according to the lawsuit. When DC Blocks applied to the city of Nashville for zoning permits, the city told the company the data center was allowed because data centers were categorized as general office or warehouse use, according to the lawsuit. In March, the city determined DC Blocks' data center proposal qualified as general office. That was in March of this year, just like 3-4 months ago. So in March, once again, what is it now? July, June, April. So like 5 months ago, 4.5 months ago, the city determined DC Blocks and their data center proposal qualified as general office. But then after it submitted the data center floor plan, the city changed the qualification to warehouse with incidental general office, which was still allowed. Then, according to the lawsuit, Nashville and the company's building permit application were vested under the state's Vested Property Rights Act, which protects landowners from abrupt zoning changes. DC Blocks continues that its data center project does not apply to the new Nashville zoning restriction because it had vested rights to the property before the regulation took effect. With the city placing the company's pending permits on delay, DC Blocks said it's causing problems with financing, carrying cost, and the competitive position within the community. The company argues the moratorium was crafted to stop its project. The lawsuit claims Nashville continued to process permits related to other data center projects after the moratorium went into effect. They're now asking a judge to declare the city's moratorium unconstitutional, that the property has protected pre-existing data center use. The company has vested permitted rights. The company is also requesting the judge rule that Nashville needs to continue issuing permits. Here's the thing. The city knows it's in a losing position, and they're not doing this to win. Y'all need to know this. The city knows it's going to lose this fight. They're wasting money to try to save face because they got caught with their proverbial pants down, okay? The reason, let me just be as clear as an unmuddied lake, okay? As clear as an azure summer. The only reason that Freddie O'Connell's office is doing this is because he wants to win re-election next year and he wants to be able to say he did something. Eminent domain is not going to work, nor should it. You should not want a government that decides after the fact that it doesn't like the nature of the legal business that is going in legally zoned to do so in a particular area, and because of some sort of public backlash after the fact, they decide that they're going to change the rules in the middle of the game. That's not the way that business ought to operate, and it sure as hell isn't the way that eminent domain is supposed to work. I know y'all hate the zoo, the data center near the zoo. I know you do. And apparently for some of you, y'all hate data centers altogether. I know because you text me and you post on X how much you hate it. You post on all of your social media platforms how much you hate data centers. Do y'all not understand the irony there? Not you, but you. You do it. The city of Nashville is going to lose this fight, and they're going to waste potentially millions of dollars in losing it for no reason other than Freddie O'Connell's attempt to get reelected. And sadly, there's not a tremendous amount we can do about it because people have gotten very emotional over the idea of a data center near a zoo. By the way, I've heard some of the rumors about the amount of concessions that DC Blocks was willing to make to the zoo. It's insane what they turned down. They turned down property. They turned down a buffer and a barrier. They turned down land use. They turned down concessions, all because they thought they could win in the court of public opinion. But here's the deal. DC Blocks doesn't care about the court of public opinion. They don't. 25 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Friends, if you have dry eyes and you think it's just, seasonal, it's just something that you have to deal with, that you'll get the drops or you'll get the ointment or whatever it is, and you'll move forward. Well, what if I told you that there's a place that could permanently alleviate your dry eyes, that there are reasons underlying for those dry eyes. There's reasons why your eyes are irritated and itchy and red all the time. And Dr. Catherine Beckman of the Beckman Dry Eye Institute, she understands all of that because she is our go-to expert when it comes to what is known as ocular surface disease. She sees patients every day that have damaged the front of their eyes due to improper blinking function or damage the glands that produce tears. So you have a lack of tear-based function. Maybe you've damaged the surface of your eye unknowingly from contact lenses or whatnot. There are a million reasons why this happens, but there's only one solution. Here's the deal. Make the call and talk to Dr. Catherine Beckman. She's not here to sell you anything. She's here to alleviate the pain that you experience, the irritation that you experience on a regular basis with your dry, irritated red eyes. What do you have to lose but the suffering? Give a call today, 629-230-3161. That's 230-3161, or online at BeckmanDryEyeInstitute.com. Spell it just like it sounds, BeckmanDryEyeInstitute.com. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for King & Associates Insurance. I've talked to you for a while now about homeowners insurance, automobile insurance. I want to talk to you for a moment about life insurance. I know it's not the most fun subject in the world, but we all need it. Not for you. I mean, if a tragedy befalls you, well, you've met your great reward, but it does protect your family, and that's what it's all about. If you have children, listen up. Because life insurance isn't about you. It's about them, making sure that the house is taken care of, that college is still a possibility, that their life is already changing due to an unfortunate death in the family, but their financial situation doesn't have to put an additional strain on them. Let's get something done about this. No pressure, no confusion, just clear options that fit your family. You want this, not for you, but for your family. 615-329-8121. 615-329-8121, or visit them online today at kinginsurance.com. That's King & Associates Insurance, protecting what matters most.
.4:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Heat advisory extended until Sunday night at 9 o'clock. Feels like temperatures could exceed 105 degrees each day until then. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Election 2026, Republican nominee for governor Marsha Blackburn telling WTN's Matt Murphy show this afternoon.
Priority number one, coming from the people of this state, is the issue of affordability.
Some of the key affordability-related positions Blackburn has outlined include reducing barriers to home construction by simplifying permitting and reducing regulatory obstacles to build more homes in hopes of bringing prices down, also growing jobs and wages.
You know how I feel about opportunity for young people. We want Tennessee to be the state of opportunity. We want this to be the state where young people say, that's for us. That is where we're going to go.
And according to the latest numbers from the government, inflation cooled slightly, dipping by 0.1 of a percentage point, 3.5% to 3.4% from June to July. But it wasn't enough to reverse the high prices seen in many sectors, like in groceries, transportation, or services. We get more from ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
When you kind of dig into the details here, there are still a big impact from higher oil prices showing up with the price of gas, which is up more than 20% over the past year. You see it trickling into airfares, also up more than 20%. You do see those kind of ripple effects of higher oil prices to transportation services.
Right now in Middle Tennessee, Channel 4's Hunter Hoagland on the hot car death in Cheatham County.
Investigators now say the death of a 3-year-old boy out in Cheatham County was a tragic accident. We brought you this as breaking news yesterday after that little boy was found inside of a hot van. Investigators say the boy's teenage sister was watching him while their mother was at work. Now, at some point yesterday afternoon, that boy got out of the house and then climbed into a broken down van there on the property. His family later reported him missing, and then he was later found inside of that van. By then, though, authorities say it was too late. Investigators say that boy died as a result of the extreme heat. Now, an online fundraiser says the family is just shattered by this loss, as you can imagine. This marks the second hot car death in the mid-state just this year.
That is the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Northbound before 2465 there at 86 AB. Berry Hill, a crash blocking the right lane. 65 northbound past Armory Drive. Got an injury wreck Rosa Parks Boulevard just south of 65. Sylvan Park, a crash. 40 westbound at White Bridge Pike of Briley Parkway West. In Bellevue, a wreck. Old Hickory Boulevard at I-40. Whites Creek, an injury crash. Whites Creek Pike just south of Briley Parkway. Parking lot, eastbound 440 over to 24. That continues eastbound 24 from 440. Northbound 65 to the South Loop. And then westbound 40 between the 440 split and downtown. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hey, friends, Matt Murphy for Timberland Cabinets. Folks, I have plans for Timberland Cabinets, and they know of my plans. And if you've got big plans for your home like we do, taking care of the kitchen. You know, one of the things we love our new place in Mount Juliet, rather Mount Pleasant, pardon me. We love the new house, and we love Murray County. But we recognize the need for new cabinets within the kitchen. And one of the reasons that I absolutely love Timberland Cabinets is that very soon there will come a time where I'll walk into the showroom and I'll start selecting cabinets for our beautiful beautiful new kitchen. That's what it's all about. Their core mission is to deliver those high-quality kitchen cabinet products or bathroom cabinet products or cabinetry for any place in the home at a low cost point, and they do it every single day. High quality right here in Columbia, Tennessee. I've walked through the showroom. I've walked through the factory. I've watched these cabinets built, and I can tell you it's the highest of the quality, and you don't have to pay the high cost for that same level of quality. Okay, so here's what I invite you to do. If you're in the market or you're thinking at all about it, go to TimberlandCabinets.com. TimberlandCabinets.com, or give them a call. Call Deb today. You can talk to Debbie. You can talk to any three of the Steves. You can ask for normal size Steve, tall Steve, or tiny Steve at 931-499-7170. 931-499-7170. Tell them I sent you to the one and only Timberland Cabinets. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So much going on. I'm juggling numerous balls here in Studio A. Jay Willie's back behind the glass. He's got a lot going on as well. Never too busy to take your telephone calls, however. 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. Of course, Ken Weaver is always juggling headlines back in News Closet B, and he does said same and delivers them twice an hour and when it breaks. Jackson, so if I play something from YouTube on YouTube, could it possibly get us kicked off YouTube?
Depends.
I'm going to give it a go. You ready? Jackson, I know you've never seen this. I want to welcome you to the wonderful world of Ricardo Montalban and Corinthian leather. Okay, wait. I felt like I was doing... Okay, I'm waiting. Are you ready? I'll set it up again. Welcome to the wonderful world of fine Corinthian leather.
I know my own needs. And what I need from an automobile, I know I get from this new Cordoba. Cordoba. I could ask for nothing beyond the quality of Cordoba's workmanship, the tastefulness of its appearance. I request nothing beyond the thickly cushioned luxury of seats available even in soft Corinthian leather. Yet it is on the highway where Cordoba best answers my demands.
Oh, yes. Look at Ricardo driving the Cordoba. Oh, yes. Let's take Take our time.
I have much more in this small Chrysler than great comfort at a most pleasant price. I have great confidence, for which there can be no price. In Cordova, I have what I need.
And all little tattoo got was that little Fantasy Island car.
Ricardo got the cries. He's so serious about the Cordoba.
I'm telling you, dude. Can't beat it.
You can't beat it. And I love it. They took their time. That was a minute-long commercial, and let me tell you, they took their time. They did. Watch Ricardo drive around on these windy roads in the Cordoba. The Chrysler Cordoba. Oh, yeah, that's good stuff. 615-737-9986. All right, so I have never really been a fan of Cam Newton. Cam Newton. Why does everybody talk about Cam Newton? I just haven't been. Now, there's a debate as to whether or not, and I'll leave it up to our resident sports expert, there's a debate as to whether or not Cam Newton's NFL career merits Hall of Fame consideration. I'm a little bit surprised about that. I mean, I understand that he kind of changed the nature of the game his 1 year at Auburn. Obviously, it was one of the finest single. I mean, Jackson, can you set aside your distaste for, winning SEC programs outside of the Tennessee Volunteers? Do we recognize that Cam Newton enjoyed one of the finest single seasons in college football?
Yeah, he's a college football Hall of Famer.
Yeah, but not an NFL Hall of Famer, right?
No.
No.
He had one great year in the NFL.
Well, did he win?
He won MVP.
MVP one, and took. He lost to
Peyton Pie.
I thought he lost to the Seahawks.
Nope.
He lost to the Broncos.
Yep.
Was he Patriots guy?
He was the Panthers guy.
Panthers guy. Okay. All right. That's why he's the resident sports expert and Matt Murphy's not. Well, he does get the Hall of Fame for honesty because let me tell you something. Cam Newton is not lying. Did you see this article about COVID? Former NFL quarterback Cam Newton said on the 4th and 1 podcast discussing the NFL's 2021 rules that required coaches and teams to be vaccinated while subjecting unvaccinated players to daily testing, masking, and other restrictions, that he agrees with Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers' claim that multiple players, coaches, and team staff bought fraudulent COVID-19 vaccination cards during the league's 2021 protocols rather than to take the jab. Newton said on the podcast, if we're being honest, going back to 2020, there were multiple players, coaches, and executives that fraudulently got their COVID shot. Outkick reported on the comments earlier today. Newton was cut by the New England Patriots in 2021 after a testing protocol dispute, said he personally knew unvaccinated teammates who obtained cards for a price. They got a card that they paid for. Boy, nurses was making big bank, Newton said. That's a direct quote. His comments echo what Rodgers told the Pat McAfee show last week when the 4-time MVP said he'd seen fake cards that looked written in crayon, blasted the league's protocol as performative, made the comments in the middle of a broader, angry, frustrated rant about Dr. Anthony Fauci, absolutely 100% merited, whom he called a criminal for invoking the Fifth Amendment 111 times before the Senate Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee. Neither man offered, quote, documentation to support the broader scale of fraud they described. One confirmed case from that era involved former Tampa Bay Buccaneers receiver Antonio Brown, who was suspended 3 games December of 2021 after the league found he had misrepresented his vaccination status, and 2 teammates were suspended alongside of him. There's just a special place in hell for many of these awful people who decided that fear and control were the most important things to gain out of what was going on in 2020 and 2021. And how quickly many of our so-called leaders were willing to set aside the idea of freedom and liberty, freedom of association, liberty to make decisions of our own choosing regarding our health, security, and safety. And the messaging that they were sending out during that time was contrary to itself. They were simultaneously saying that it was a pandemic of the unvaccinated and saying, well, you have to get vaccinated, otherwise you're a threat to other vaccinated people if you're unvaccinated. Well, how the hell am I? This makes no logical sense. Look, I'm not anti-vax, as it were, but I believe that vaccinations need to be tested and retested and retested. We need to make sure that we understand the full side effects and that we understand exactly what the vaccination is going to do and that it's actually a vaccination. I'm not talking about COVID-19 right now. I'm talking about measles, mumps, rubella, these types of things. Obviously, medical science has advanced where we can prevent infectious disease unlike any other time in human history, and that's a good thing. But these were untested vaccines that some, especially some of the finest athletic specimens on planet Earth, said, you know what, I'm not going to risk my body. Let me tell y'all something. The NFL is not the only place. And I'm sure that many of you within your places of business could tell stories, as I could, about individuals working for places of business, working for companies, private companies, or that either bought into the lies or decided that they were going to follow the herd and they would demand that you have to get vaccinated, otherwise you get fired. You have to get vaccinated, otherwise you can't work here anymore. And a lot of companies, and I'll just choose not to name names, a lot of companies owe their employee base apologies because we were being lied to about the nature of the COVID-19 pandemic to begin with, about its origin, about what to do, what the medical science led us to do in terms of mitigating the severity or mitigating the spread. All of it was based on lie after lie after lie. And I know plenty of people that were put in awful positions. And Cam Newton's reflecting on this. And why Cam Newton's the bad guy is beyond me. Why Aaron Rodgers is the bad guy, and I know Aaron Rodgers is kind of a weirdo, but why he's the bad guy is beyond me. They're telling the truth. That there were people during that period in time that were put into the position where they could either do something to their body that they fundamentally felt like was wrong for whatever reason. And it doesn't matter whether they were right or they were wrong. It's their body to decide. Yet they had their jobs, their careers, their livelihoods held over them, held over their heads. You either prove you took the jab or you'll be expunged. And I find it shameful that honest, good people were put into a position where they had to lie about it. And many did. Many did. Early on in the pandemic, I remember that you could go online and you could find yourself a card. I remember that you could find yourself a vaccination card for $125. Do y'all remember that? And most of those cards got pulled off the internet prior to some of the mandates coming down, not government mandates, but business-based, corporate-based mandates. Now, I don't have any right, for example, to work for Cumulus Media. I don't have any inherent God-given right. They can make rules, and I can decide to sue them if I feel like those rules are unfair or they're after the fact or whatever. I just use this as an example. So I understand that rules can be put in place in business settings where someone has to make a decision. What I find, once again, to be shameful, these companies forced individuals who had genuine concerns about the jab, genuine concerns about their health and safety, and they were forced to make a decision whether or not they would keep their jobs and keep their careers or lie. And many of them chose to lie. Some of them chose not to. Some of them chose to move on down the road. So I don't know why we're frustrated that Cam Newton's just telling the truth about this. Ray and Brian, we'll get to you in a moment. It's 10 till 5. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for USS. What comes to mind when you talk about large home repairs? A hassle, right? You don't want to deal with it. You just want to pretend like it's not going on. Well, if you're afraid of what you're going to hear, let me tell you, you need to face the music. You need to talk to USS, especially when it comes to the foundation of your home. It's especially true, as a matter of fact, when it comes to waterproofing and foundation repair. It could be something bigger that needs to be fixed. It could be a small problem that can be handled pretty quickly. Bottom line, what you don't know can hurt you, and you need to know through USS. Now, they come to your house. They are problem solvers. They'll get out, and with no cost to you, they'll figure out what's going on with a free estimate. This is trust. This is waterproofing with a specific purpose. This is making sure that your home's going to be there for your family and for generations to come. Friends, go to USSTN.com. That's USSTN.com to find out more. And be sure to tell them Matt Murphy sent you. Over 30,000 satisfied customers and over 30 years in the business. There's only one that I would recommend, and it is United Structural Systems. Hi, friends. Matt Murphy for Genesis Diamonds. You've heard, perhaps you've heard about some of the big corporate stores closing their doors. Why is that happening? Well, many smart shoppers have figured out that cookie cutter jewelry is boring. It just doesn't cut it anymore. It doesn't in this community because Genesis Diamonds exists. They're having record success. Genesis is locally owned. They're staffed by experts, warranties and guarantees that are unheard of, with personalized attention. They walk you through the doors. They show you the showroom itself. You'll see incredible sparkling jewelry from this case to that case. I mean, it's just absolutely gorgeous. It's a little overwhelming, but don't worry. They'll feed you baby birds, right? They'll walk you through the process. They'll give you a beverage if you so desire, and they'll help you understand the diamond buying procedure. at Genesis. And let me tell you something. It is as easy as Sunday morning. They're not going to pressure you to do anything you don't want to do. They don't work on commission, so they're not motivated that way. They're motivated to help you find the right thing for you and your family. So whether you're looking for a beautiful, dazzling pendant or bracelet or something to put on someone's ring finger, it's time to get to Genesis Diamonds Plus pre-owned Rolex watches. They've got them at Genesis. 2 locations, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Go by and see them today and tell them Matt Murphy sent you to the one and only Genesis Diamonds.
Heat advisory extended through Sunday night, and Republican nominee for governor Marsha Blackburn tells WTN's Matt Murphy show she knows Tennesseans' number one priority. She's going to talk about it coming up at 5 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Thank you for being with us. It's almost 2 hours down, 2 hours to go. Super Talk. Ray is coming up in just a moment. Brian, you too. 615-737-9986 if you'd like to be a part of the show. I'm just reading via the super text line, and you can reach us at the aforementioned number. The number of you impacted and affected. Listen, I understand it was a crazy time. It was obviously a crazy time, 2020, 2021. I'm just fascinated looking back on it now. Do we not understand the lies that were being told to us? I'm amazed that the mainstream media refuses to accept its culpability in promoting some of the lies being fed to them. I mean, if you're #NeverCNN, really all you have to do is say, you know what, we were deceived by Anthony Fauci. We were deceived by Michelle Walensky. We were deceived by the National Institutes of Health and the Centers for Disease Control. These were trusted agencies that we believed when they told us these types of things. And oh, by the way, it doesn't matter whether or not Anthony Fauci was aware that there was a potential complication with pregnancy when he was out there saying that there was no complication with pregnancy. It is a series of misinformation. It's a series of missteps. It's a series of lies. You have no credibility with me, Anthony Fauci. None. Ray is next. Hey, Ray.
How you doing, sir?
I'm well, thank you.
I work for a family-owned company. I drive truck for them. And when COVID first came out, I asked the owner of the company, did he want us, all employees, to take the shot? And he told me, it's up to you. He said, but he doesn't recommend it. So I told him, I said, well, you know, they're going to find out that we didn't take the shot. And he was like, you know what? They'd have to have the National Guard standing in front of my doors telling me that I've got to close my business because my employees didn't want to take the shot. So I just wanted to say that.
Well, Ray, I mean, I'm glad you did. And it was, I mean, certainly it was a time where governments tried to institute rules over private businesses, and they refused to allow private business owners to open their doors back up to willing customers. It was just wasn't that long ago. Wasn't that long ago. We are elephantine. We try to remember these things. Brian, we'll get to you in a moment. Cameron Smith coming up as well. We'll talk to Cameron about some of the activities going on in Nashville, Tennessee, specific to property tax increases and whatnot. And you on the phone, 615-737-9986 if you'd like to be involved. 615-737-9986. It's Matt Murphy and the Murphy Show. It's time for the news on Super Talk.
5 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. The heat advisory is extended until Sunday night. Feels like temperatures could exceed 105 degrees. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Some breaking news out of Texas. An Army Apache helicopter has crashed in a field near Fort Hood, and the Bell County Sheriff's Office confirms the 2 on board are dead. Election 2026 in Tennessee. Republican nominee for governor Marsha Blackburn telling WTN's Matt Murphy show today.
Priority number one coming from the people of this state is the issue of affordability.
She says she's focused especially on younger Tennesseans.
And it means we've got to have housing that is affordable, that we've got to have jobs that are going to pay the type wages that are going to be necessary for these young people to have and grow their families here, to build their careers here, to someday retire here, to have their children want to come back to Tennessee.
Yeah, Marsha wants to remove a lot of the permitting regulations and other regulations to build more homes. She says will bring prices down. By the way, gasoline prices are on the way up again here in Middle Tennessee. Gas Buddy putting the average at $3.71 this afternoon. That's up nearly a dime since yesterday. U.S. military will withdraw its last troops from Iraq by September 30th, ending a presence that began with the 2003 invasion that ousted Saddam Hussein. Iraqi officials confirming the timeline after a meeting with CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper. Washington and Baghdad agreed last year to conclude the U.S.-led coalition mission against ISIS. Both countries say future ties will focus on economic development and security cooperation. And a new tool for immigration and customs enforcement. ICE officers may soon be outfitted with gloves that can deliver electric shocks. Human rights activists slamming the idea of using the devices that they say can cause what they claim is terrible pain. ABC's Olivia Rubin in Washington.
The Department of Homeland Security looking to spend as much as $20 million, according to proposal documents submitted. The device is called GLOVE, which stands for Generated Low Output Voltage Emitter, the company who makes them demonstrating their power on social media. The company says officers must press a switch to activate the gloves. According to the company, the gloves must directly touch a person's skin for the shock to work.
Severe weather is blamed for killing at least one person in Indiana today. Resident Michelle Wilson says they lost power and the basement of her home is filled with water.
I'm overwhelmed and I'm upset because, no flood insurance here.
East of Indianapolis, swift water teams rescued more than a dozen people in Cambridge City, Indiana. And that's the latest news. Weather's next, so is traffic. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, over here on the North Loop, we've got an injury crash. 65 northbound before the part where 24 and 65 merge there at the North Loop. In West Nashville, a crash, Charlotte Pike at White Bridge Pike. Providence, Haywood Lane at Nolensville Pike. Hermitage, Lebanon Pike, west of Andrew Jackson Parkway. Then I-40 westbound in Sylvan Park, we've got a crash, White Bridge Pike, Briley Parkway West. Glencliff, 40 westbound before Spence Lane. And then at Whites Creek, an injury wreck. Whites Creek Pike south of Briley Parkway. It is a parking lot going eastbound on 440 from 65 to get to 24. Then that continues eastbound 24 from 440. It is complete stop and go westbound 40 from the 440 split to downtown. So is eastbound South Loop. Northbound 65 to the South Loop. That eastbound South Loop, that is a parking lot all the way over to the downtown split. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, it's just after 5 o'clock. Many of you off work in your automobiles. We'll try to get you home as safely as possible. Hopefully cooling off a little bit out of doors. It was a hot one today, as you might expect. It's the middle of August, after all. I don't get too worked up about the heat. I know some do, and that's fine. That's all well and good. I understand that it's hot out there. But this happens every year. I feel like, I'm just saying that I feel like every year it gets a little hotter. And then if I'm not mistaken, I've been around the block a time or two. I'm about to turn 53 years of age on September 1st. Jackson, you might as well go ahead and start your shopping now. I don't know if you've decided what you're getting me, but it should be something pretty nice. Yeah? No?
Oh, I've got something planned.
Ken, I feel like Jackson is just I feel like he's checked out for the weekend already.
Brother Jackson's busy.
Is he?
He is doing a lot of work in there. I'm not sure what exactly he's doing, but he's busy.
Does it have to do with, I don't know, videos? Sports videos? Or no? What you doing in there, Jackson?
Just getting the interview ready for 6:35.
Oh, yeah. We've got Marsha Blackburn coming back at 6:35 tonight. We had a nice conversation with Senator Blackburn earlier today, and hopefully she was very agreeable to the idea of stopping by in studio so we can have a little more of a long-form discussion. I didn't get to half of my questions that I had for her because we only had her for about, 20 minutes or so. But we did ask her about debates. We asked her about China. She's kind of deflected that a little bit. I was like, why are we talking about Chinese land? I thought that was already a thing. Well, it is already a thing, but there are more concerns about China that we need to have, and we need to bring these things up. Oh, okay. We discussed data centers. We discussed flock cameras. We mentioned bell-to-bell no-cell. That's also a continuation of ongoing efforts by the General Assembly. I brought up infrastructure, and she didn't touch on that. We did ask what her number one priority would be as governor of the state of Tennessee. She answered that question. We talked to her about her proudest Senate moment, and she talked a little about that. She initially said her proudest Senate moment was getting to meet people from every county of the state of Tennessee, but then eventually she got around to a couple of other things that she said she's proud of. The Kids Online Safety Act was one of them.
COSA.
And I suppose she should be proud of that. I'm proud of the fact that Cameron Smith has decided to return to his normal place in the 5 o'clock hour on Matt Murphy's show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello.
Hey, buddy. What was the number one priority?
Her number one priority was affordability. She said as she goes around the state, I was kind of holding, so I was hoping to capture people so they'd have to wait to listen. But now you've buried the.
Well, I mean, affordability.
Buried that idea. Yeah, it's affordability that as she goes around the state, the number one concern that people talk to her about. It's affordability. Public safety was number 2, and education was number 3.
I mean, it sounds like a decent political campaign.
Yeah,
sure. This affordability thing, like, we got to quit doing
It's
things.
a little bit of a catch-all.
Yeah, we got to quit doing things that make stuff more expensive.
Yeah.
That's how you do affordability.
Yeah.
And we're bad at that.
So tax us less and spend less fake money.
Yep.
Those two things, if you are a part of government, will go a long way to make things and maybe stop the Middle East stuff. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No, I got it. War in Iran.
Okay.
Tariffs.
Okay. Sure. Okay.
Yeah, that's enough. I think we got it.
That's pretty good.
Nailed it.
Wow.
I just don't know what you really do at the state level in terms of affordability, because the big drivers economically right now are fuel prices.
And that affects everyone, and that doesn't know any state border.
Right. And
unless you're willing to take less money as a state.
Yeah. Well, maybe we could just be a state that just gets a whole lot of federal dollars and, we could do it that way. Just subsidize our lives with government spending.
You've inspired me. I want to ask this question. How much federal... How's it going over there with you, by the way? You doing okay?
It's because you have to...
Is that the same shirt?
That I was wearing earlier?
That you were wearing last week?
No, it's a different shirt.
It's the same style, same pattern, but different shirt.
I've chosen
I see that. I feel that.
To wear explosively vibrant shirts during this time of year. It'll stop after Labor Day, maybe, as will going away of my white shoes, as I've been told. I have to put the seersucker up.
You don't have to do anything you don't want to do.
I know that, but artificial rules that no one knows why we have them.
Right.
We got to follow them, Matt.
Right.
At least that's what my wife tells me.
Like washing your hands after you go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I don't pee in my hands. Why do I have to wash them?
Well, and if you peed in your hands, you're in sterile, so you're fine.
It'd still be good.
Yeah.
Might not, well.
Yeah, it's details.
The federal government provided approximately, you want to guess how much? What's
the question?
This fiscal year 2023, the amount of federal money that went into Tennessee state and local governments. 2023.
$50 billion.
$21.5 billion. Broader scale, including direct federal spending. Oh, well. Now, if you include Medicare, defense, Social Security, total federal funding flowing into the state was $110 billion. All
right.
Now, that's some of those contracts that don't specifically have anything to do with the state of Tennessee. So, yeah, $110 billion of federal money on an annual basis. Now, Tennessee's a lot better than some states.
Yeah.
But we're still spending a lot of money that doesn't really exist.
Yeah, and it's interesting. John says, oh, yeah, cynical Cameron. Well, guys, it's not good. We say things like affordability, but when we don't do things that bring prices down, we're bad at it.
And the government's not good at this.
No.
The government, anything, so, and I wasn't going to argue with Marsha about it. It's her answer, and she's allowed her answer. So, I mean, those of you that just wanted me to yell at Marsha Blackburn, we're not going to do that, right? I mean, we're not going to just yell at her for... I mean, I got one shot at it, and if I'm not going to waste my shot yelling at her on the phone, but whatever. But I would say this: the government. Tell me how the government's going to solve affordability by spending more money, which is one of the causes of inaffordability.
You can't,
right? So everything that you try to do as a government is going to add cost, and it's going to infuse money into a system that's already overloaded with fake money. And you're going to and inflation is going to go up as a result, and inaffordability.
Right.
So,
well, I mean, and we still in Tennessee, I mean, and you and I have talked about this at length. We have a bureaucracy problem in Tennessee.
We do.
And I hope that when Governor Blackburn takes office, he says, you know what? I want accountability for state government that I'm in control of. So we're going to register employees as lobbyists who lobby for or against legislation at the General Assembly. We must do that. I mean, if we don't do that, this is just going to keep on growing. The beast is going to keep feeding itself. And it's a shadow government that does not have to register and can lobby against you and me.
Explain how that happens.
Sure. So normally, if you're a lobbyist, you have to, under Tennessee law, register. And you have to say, here's what I'm doing. I have to go to ethics training. But it's transparent. You and I can look and see, hey, Bob lobbied for Big Pharma, and here's the legislation.
Cameron and Matt are lobbying for widgets, and we have to sign up to lobby we're the pro-widget lobby, and we have to sign up to be a pro-widget lobbyists, and you know what we're doing up there.
Right. Well, the issue, and incidentally, it's same on the federal level, and it has spending attached, so you know how much companies and trade associations and unions are spending lobbying for legislation.
Sure.
What happens is the law in Tennessee explicitly exempts state employees from the registration requirement. So if, let's say I'm an agency operative, I come in there and I say, you know what? I want to lobby for this bill. I can just walk in and lobby, right? I can say, I'm going to need some more revenue here, legislator. I need to do that. You need to up the tax here. You need to up the fee. And there's no record of any of that. And so the taxpayer pays for the public employee to advocate for the bureaucracy against the interest of the taxpayer. And that to me is, no, we can't do that with no transparency.
So I'm just trying to think of an example. So the TWRA.
Yep.
Tennessee Wildlife Resources. They can lobby any government official to any position they want, any government official, even if it goes against the basic interest of the taxpaying citizens. Well, and they don't even have to log it.
Well, we found out about that directly.
Yeah, we did.
The the deer baiting bill, like hunting over a baited field. The legislators were like, well, we should let people do this. And TWRI said, no, we need a fee. Well, that is lobbying for a tax, a fee, against the public. The public doesn't have a vested interest in paying the government more fees. That was paid for by the taxpayer. So the taxpayer pays the TWRA employees that go tell the legislature, no, you must do this or we'll kill your bill.
And they have the power to do so because they have so much sway over so many lawmakers.
Yes.
And that's that's the cart leading the horse. It should not be that way. So for those unfamiliar with the specifics, it was determined by the state that, hey, if you want to bait a field, that's fine. So they decided that an activity should be permissible in the state. That there's no negative consequence over that activity, and that you should be allowed to do it. And you can say that it's not sportsmanlike, but whatever. I mean, the state's decided it's not going to get into that. But instead of just leaving it at that, they decided, but here's what we're going to do. If you decide that that's the way you want to act on your property with your corn and your deer, that you have to pay the state a fee in order to do it that specific way.
Right.
And why?
Well, it was a TWRA fundraiser.
Like literally nobody can adequately explain to me why there had to be a fee associated with granting Tennessee people back a certain level of their liberties when it comes to hunting.
Right. And I even pointed out in a column I wrote about it that it's not even enforceable. Like you would have to have probable cause to go in and check if the baited field was baited properly. So there's no enforcement cost to speak of. I mean, it was just a fundraiser. And my point is, we need an accountable executive branch. It is completely normal and fine for the governor to have legislative priorities and go talk to the General Assembly about them. Those employees that do that should be transparent about what they're doing, what the position is, and how much of their time they're spending there. Because I'm paying, you're paying, the listeners are paying for state employees to go lobby the legislature.
2607 says, bad example, TWRA is self-funded. And they're self-funded because...
Yep, sure.
They're self-funded because of all the licensing that they require. They're self-funded because of what we're talking
Right.
about. When they go to the legislature and force us to pay more of our dollars in licensing fees like this, they count that as their self-funding. Don't you understand what you're saying, 2607? So they claim that they're self-funding because they lobby the legislature to tax us more. And they funnel that money into their pot, and then they say it's self-funding.
Right.
That's not self-funding. That's taxpayer funded.
Imagine that TWRA says this is voluntary. If they don't have a law that says you must pay it, then they can't do it. So the idea that it's self-funded is silly. It's just not.
Right. No, they legally require, and in some cases, that's fine. If you want to legally require me to have a license to hunt this, that, or the other, that's fine. But the suggestion that they're self-funded, they generate money from us.
Right.
And what we're pointing out is some of those ways that they generate money, there's a legitimate need to license individuals to make sure that people are on the up and up and they're doing things the right way. And in some cases, there's no legitimate need to do so. They're just doing it to generate money.
Yeah. Well, the other way we can do this is we can just say you are self-funded. Therefore, your revenues are capped at those fees, and you can't get any more fees.
Yeah.
And if you don't have enough money to operate, you have to go away.
Yeah, you have to cut salaries. Or
cut personnel,
whatever.
whittle it down. And, oh, no, we can't do that. We need some support. There's not as many hunters. I'm like, well, guess what?
If there's not as, and I've heard this over the years, well, we've got to do this because the hunters are dwindling. Well, if the hunters are dwindling, if there's not as many hunters, why are there as many of you?
Right.
Right? I wouldn't think that there would need to be that. Anyway, Brian has been holding on the issue of COVID. Brian, I want to get to you before we get to the break. What's going on, Brian?
Well, I worked at a hospital for 4 years, making good money, and I got let go due to me not taking a shot due to my health. I had 5 bypasses. I didn't believe in it, and they let me go. And when I went to the labor department, they said, well, Tennessee is the right to hire and fire state.
Yes, that is true.
And, so I lost my job. Took me 3 weeks to get another one, and thank God that I got education, and also I'm in HVAC, so it wasn't that hard to find a job. It would just pee me off because, here you are 4 years, and then all of a sudden you're gone.
Wait, what'd you say right at the end there, Brian? I lost it.
Oh, I said, 4 years. I mean, now, I hate to say it, but, old school, Bob Seger says you're just a number, and that's what you are. 4 years, they don't care. Even though you are dedicated, you're out there in ice, snow, staying there, keeping the chillers going, keeping people happy. And, then you get this COVID thing and you don't take the shot, you're gone. No dedication anymore.
Well, Brian, I mean, sadly, it's true. And obviously, when you're talking about a right to work state, I mean, I agree with that concept that employers and employees should be able to contract with one another, but that doesn't mean that you don't have legal recourse in some situations. And if you feel like your rights have been violated on some level, or they're making exceptions where exceptions should not be made, or they're not making exceptions where exceptions should have been made, then, I mean, that's why we have a court of law. That's why we have civil court, where you can go and attempt to be made whole by a jury of your peers or a judge in good standing of the state of Tennessee. We were talking earlier about Cam Newton saying that that a bunch of NFL players lied about their COVID shots. And I'm like, why is everybody mad at him? This is pretty obvious to me that a bunch of NFL players, I think a bunch of employees in a bunch of different marketplaces lied regarding their COVID vaccinations, because if they didn't, they might get fired and lose their careers. 24 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
An Army Apache attack helicopter has crashed in a field near Fort Hood, Texas. Also, election 2026 in Middle Tennessee. Republican nominee for Governor Marsha Blackburn tells WTN's Matt Murphy Show what she wants to do about affordability. These stories and more coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. There's the voice of Ken Weaver. He's got news coming up in just a moment. Cameron Smith is here. Matt Murphy's here as well. It is the Murphy Show, a midweek edition on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Pleased that you've decided to join us. DC Blocks, I mentioned that they are suing the metro area because the metro area is just playing fast and loose with the rules and fast and loose with the law regarding what they can or cannot do concerning their property purchase. In November of 2025, they bought a piece of property for $23 million, has spent large sums of money, engineering, architecture, utility coordination, environment work. What I have been told, that DC Blocks offered a portion of the property that they had bought to the zoo, offered them a building that the zoo claimed that they had wanted, offered them an ability to build an abutment, offered them that they would build a sound barrier to soundproof whatever activity that the zoo wanted them to soundproof. I was told all of this by a source that I trust enough to relate it to you, and I don't take that lightly. And the zoo said no to all of that because the zoo thought that they could win in the court of public opinion. And they have. But that doesn't matter. None of that matters when it comes to the law and when it comes to this nonsensical idea that Freddie can just declare eminent domain after the fact and get the property. That's not the way any of that works. Well, stand by.
When you have feelings.
Yeah, that's true. We do have feelings.
You can just apply eminent domain to feelings, I'm pretty sure.
I was told a couple of days ago that the people in Freddie's office, they know.
Of course.
They know they're going to get their butts kicked. But they're doing it anyway. They're going to waste a lot of money on legal fees just so Freddie can say that he tried when he's running for re-election next year. That's it.
And if I were the data center, I would say I will offer free compute to whoever wants to make AI videos of the mayor of Nashville.
That's pretty fun. Sounded like an idiot. But if you could make me, could someone please make me an AI video of Mayor Freddie O'Connell eating a flamingo leg, please? Thank you. Y'all get on that.
Do it.
Y'all do it. Get on it, and I'll present it by the time we get back. It's 32 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Heat advisory extended through Sunday night. Feels like temperatures could exceed 105 degrees this week. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. An Army Apache attack helicopters crashed in a field near Fort Hood, Texas. 2 people on board, no survivors, according to the Bell County Sheriff's Office there. Election 2026 in Tennessee. Republican nominee for Governor Marsha Blackburn telling WTN's Matt Murphy Show.
Priority number 1 coming from the people of this state is the issue of affordability.
She wants to remove barriers to building more homes, grow jobs and wages, and review state spending.
And looking at how we can do that, how we can increase the housing, how we can get this cost of living down, that is the number 1 issue. It is followed closely by public safety. And the third thing is education, world-class education for kids in every county across this state.
AI data centers? Blackburn says some places want them, others don't. That will be dealt with at the local level, but she does say you will see the state weigh in with a state-level ratepayer protection plan for electricity rates.
Protecting communities and consumers from those high electric rates if a data center comes in. That is something that we need to pass. Jack Johnson and I have talked about the need to do that.
Blackburn also proposing reviewing state spending through what she calls a Tennessee Doge. And after more than 2 decades in Iraq, the United States will remove its remaining troops by September 30th. Iraqi Prime Minister Ali al-Zaidi called the date final, said October 1st will mark a new chapter free of foreign military forces for his country. The withdrawal follows a 2024 agreement to end coalition operations against ISIS. Iraqi leaders say the nation's security forces are now prepared to take full responsibility for protecting the country. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Still dealing with a lot of crashes. Got the North Loop injury crash, 65 northbound before the 2465 junction. Hillsboro, West End, injury crash. West End at Murphy Road and Orleans Drive. West Nashville, a crash. Charlotte Pike at White Bridge Pike. Providence, Haywood Lane at Nolensville Pike. Hermitage, Lebanon Pike, west of Andrew Jackson Parkway. Midtown, West End Avenue and Elliston Place. Then we got Glencliff, a crash. 40 westbound before Spence Lane. Looking like a parking lot still as you are northbound 65. Once you get up to Goodlettsville, get through that construction there. Eastbound 24 from the 440 split goes beyond Harding Place, where the brake tapping continues all the way through Antioch down to Laverne. Northbound 65 is a parking lot at times to get to the South Loop. So is the eastbound South Loop to 65. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is 5:40. Thank you for being with us. My name is Matt Murphy, and this is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Hopefully, we've caught you up on most everything that's going on in the world today. Now, this is not my nincompoop in the news, although a case could be made that it could be. A former Southern Poverty Law Center finance officer was charged Wednesday for the role in having the left-wing nonprofit secretly pay informants who participated in white supremacist groups over the past decade. Heidi Berich made an appearance in federal court, and according to their defense attorney, this is a woman that used to be a guy, I guess, or sure. A new indictment that includes a former CFO of SPLC, according to Attorney General Todd Blanche, confirmed in a news conference, adding that there had been an arrest made. The attorney for Byrich said she appeared voluntarily in court. Dr. Byrich, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly and don't care, is innocent. The case is without merit. The case is with merit. We've much discussed the SPLC and their role in fostering and fomenting hate around the United States of America because, you know, their business model depends on there being more hatred. There's not enough hatred, and the business model can't support it. And so they've got to gin up more hate so that they can act like they combat it to raise money. I think I have that correct. Also in the news today, if you missed it, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt has decided to leave the White House. She's going to spend time. Obviously, she has a new baby, and she wants to spend time with her family and her new child, and she is leaving her role as Press Secretary as a result. 42 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Ladies and gentlemen, we do it every day at this time. It's time for Nick Boots in the News.
Nincompoops in the news.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You know what the news is. You've heard Ken Weaver delivering it all afternoon. You've heard Matt Murphy opine on said same. It's time to move all through the volunteer state. All through these 50 United States of America.
Nay, the globe.
Nay, the globe, Jackson. Jackson Williams is playing under protest because I won yesterday.
Did you win?
I did. So
way to go.
There's a Ken Weaver victory on Monday and a Matt Murphy victory on Tuesday. And we're still waiting on Jackson to show up. Now, Jackson will show up. Trust me. Jay Willie knows how to play the game.
Oh, he pulled one out real fast last week.
Let me tell you. This dude has won more Nincompoop weekly championships than you can shake a stick at, my friend.
Yeah.
He's got more weekly Nincompoop championships than Alabama claims to have SEC championships, and that's a lot. So I don't take anything lightly, but I do get to pick the batting order, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do.
What are you going to do, Brother Murphy?
I'm going to pick you first, Ken.
Yay!
Now, I don't know where Cameron went. I think he had to take a call, so we're just going to pretend that Cameron's not here right now. I'm going to say Weaver, Murphy, and Jackson Williams up the rear. That's the first time I've ever said that.
That's a lie.
Felt pretty good. I don't think I've ever done that.
You say it every
before.
time you win. So I guess you have never said it before.
Thank you. I knew you'd come around to my way of thinking. Ken Weaver, you're nincompoop, sir.
Former NFL receiver Stedman Bailey arrested following incident at Florida Mall Arcade. Former NFL wide receiver Stedman Bailey and a 35-year-old woman were arrested in South Florida after police said the pair engaged in a sexual act in a public area of a mall entertainment venue. According to Pembroke Pines police, officers responded to round one, a bowling and arcade attraction. Well, that's where you want to go.
A what? A bowling
Yeah,
and
you can bowl there and play games.
Oh, well, that sounds like fun.
This was the early morning hours of July 27th when investigators said employees and witnesses reported seeing Bailey and Karina Manderson in a public bar area where customers were still present. Police reviewed surveillance footage and interviewed witnesses as part of their investigation and alleged the footage showed the pair engaged in appropriate conduct near the bar. Officers said witnesses reported observing sexual activity before staff intervened and directed the couple to stop. You stop that.
Don't do that.
Now get a room. After speaking with police, both Bailey and Manderson were arrested and charged with indecent exposure. Reports indicate the two acknowledged consuming alcohol at the venue. Imagine that. Bailey reportedly told investigators that while both had exposed themselves, they didn't do anything. The 35-year-old Bailey, best known for his football career with the St. Louis Rams. After being selected in the third round of the 2013 NFL Draft, he played 2 full seasons in the NFL before his career was derailed in 2015 when he survived a shooting in South Florida.
Oh, no.
That left him with serious head injuries.
Wow, so bonk your head.
Now he's
now he's exposing himself, sounds like.
Yeah, exposing himself in bowling alleys and having relations with ladies there.
You know, he gets a lot of balls rolling around those bowling alleys.
Oh, not great.
Jokes right themselves. Thank you, Ken Weaver. There's your nincompoop. Hey, Jackson, where are we slotting Cameron's back? Where are we slotting him in?
Up the rear.
You're bringing up the rear.
Okay.
You're not. Yeah,
I get that.
You're bringing up the rear.
Yeah. Very
All right.
specific.
University Student Council apologizes over giving girl groups used water bottles away as prizes. Y'all follow me here. This is a tricky one. A recent festival at the University of South Chungcheong Province. I think I got that one
That's
right.
exactly how it's pronounced.
That's the way to go, Brother Murphy.
Chung. That's Chung.
Mm-hmm.
Cheong. That's Chong.
Mm-hmm.
So it's South Chungcheong.
Something like
It
that.
sounds like I'm making fun. I'm not making fun. That's the name of the province. A recent festival at the University of South Chungcheong Province has sparked controversy over the sexual objectification of women after water bottles used by the girl group Oh My Girl were given away as prizes during a talent show.
The fact there's a girl group named Oh My Girl.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got pictures of them. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What I love, and I'm going to try to share this. Here, I'll move it over here. I don't know if Jackson can share it or not. But what I love is they're all wearing these little dainty outfits, and they're all making these little signs of love or whatever. But they're worried about sexual objectification because they gave away water bottles. Despite apologies from the University Student Council and the Master of Ceremonies of the event, criticism continues to mount. Apparently on May 26th of this year, several videos were posted on social media platforms showing the girl group Oh My Girl performing at a university festival in Asan in the South Chungcheong Province. After Oh My Girl's performance, the host invited male students onto the stage for a talent show. They were rewarded with water bottles that the group had drunk from. The host asked one of the male students, "Whose water bottle do you want?" The student named a specific member of Oh My Girl, and the host scrutinized the bottles as if they were labeled before handing one over while calling out the name of a different member. Videos of the event captured the audience's reaction, with students expressing negative sentiments such as, "What is the point of taking that?" and, quote, "That's perverted."
You had to quote that.
I guess so. Well, I mean, that's what the man said, Ken.
That's what he said. You got to quote it.
Both the host and the male student who received the bottle faced additional criticism in response to the backlash. The student council and the host issued apologies the following day. The host explained, quote, "I mistakenly thought it would be a memorable gesture, but I ended up causing harm." I love the fact that all of this is translated from a different... Some students who participated in the talent show expected different prizes, and they were surprised to receive water bottles from Oh My Girl. This happened due to my poor judgment. Please criticize me, not the students. The student council, which organized the festival, issued a statement apologizing to those who felt uncomfortable and were affected by the inappropriate proceedings.
Ugh.
Used water bottles.
The student council, this organization, this festival, all of these people are nincompoops. Every single one of them.
And Chungcheong.
In South Chungcheong.
I think anywhere where we do this type of pandering to people that get offended by this, we should just punch them in the face.
Just shut your mouths.
Like, this is so lame. We are such a candy you know what society.
I mean,
good grief.
Have these people never heard the phrase, I would drink her bath water?
Yeah, and it wasn't bath water.
And it was water bottle water.
Yeah.
Which I don't blame them for wanting.
Yeah, I mean, it's only probably got a little backwash in there.
Yeah, so and now we're once again we're worried about objectifying these young ladies. They're all pretty Asian ladies who are wearing very, very short skirts, and they're all dressed in white, and they're all like, dee-hee-hee-hee-hee. You know what I'm talking about.
And all of those were band names.
All of them. That's
Tee-hee-hee is a band name.
Tee-hee-hee. Well, there's Tee-hee-hee, and then there's Tee-hee-hee-hee-hee.
Right.
She's the new one in the band. Yes, Jackson, you're nincompoop, sir.
You ready?
We're always ready, Jackson. Always ready.
Golfer resigns from country club after admitting to fake hole-in-one.
Saw this.
I did say this.
An amateur golfer has resigned his membership at a St. Louis area club after admitting to a now viral cheating scandal in which he faked making a hole-in-one. Zach Holland, a former college golfer who now reportedly is a 2 handicap, told ESPN Radio in St. Louis that he placed his golf ball in the cup at the par 3 hole before the start of a membership event at Wing Haven Country Club located in O'Fallon, Missouri. Holland then lied about acing the hole during the tournament and offered the ball as proof of a hole-in-one to his playing partners. You do something as dumb as I did, there are consequences for that, Holland said Friday during an interview with The Morning After Show on 101 ESPN St. Louis. Nathan Charnes, the acting PGA of America president and general manager at Wing Haven, confirmed the incident in a statement to golf.com, adding that the club promptly addressed the matter. Wing Haven Country Club is aware of the recent attention surrounding an incident involving a former member during a club event. The club promptly addressed the matter. We care deeply about the integrity of the game and the experience we provide for our members and guests. Because of this situation involved the actions of an individual and has been resolved, we consider it closed and have no further comment. The member tournament at Wing Haven includes a hole-in-one prize pot, according to Holland, who was in the event's first group. Holland told ESPN Radio that he completed the first 3 holes with his group before telling his playing partners that he needed to take a personal phone call, allegedly regarding his mortally ill grandmother. While they played the 4th hole, in order to keep up with pace of play, Holland told the group that he would tee off on number 4 ahead of them and would meet them later on the green. When he reunited with his group, Holland said he told his partners that he thinned his tee shot but did not see where the ball ended up.
Thin to win.
The group then found the ball in the cup and assumed Holland made a hole-in-one and celebrated before contacting a superintendent. According to Holland, however, security footage got him again. It was reviewed by Wing Haven staff and showed Holland driving near the 4th green well before his scheduled tee time. Holland said he ultimately admitted to club officials that he faked the hole-in-one and resigned his membership. Holland said during the interview that he and his family have received online threats and, despite the scandal, insisted that he is not a cheater on the golf course.
Well, of course not.
Holland added that he wishes his critics would tread lightly on his family, saying his wife and 2 young children don't deserve the online vitriol directed at them.
He wishes they would tread lightly on his family, so not too heavy, just a little treading on the family.
What I am most worried about is my family. It's not fair for them, for me to put them in the situation where they walk into a room, there's a stigma there that your dad is a cheater.
Well, that's because he is.
It's from the cheating.
So questions that may get asked or be getting asked down the road, that's the worst part. The golf is secondary.
So, Daddy, are you a liar? No, son, I just cheated.
It's big time difference. You're not going to get to go.
No, Cameron, that was my fault.
No, it's okay. It's hurtful, and I'm pushing some controversy here.
Uh-oh.
This is just an awful nincompoop, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Uh-oh.
I mean, my other option was Mike Lindell, who's found irregularities in the Minnesota governor's election. But this one is a Florida man that faces aggravated animal cruelty charges after deputies say he killed 2 kittens and injured another.
Goodness.
No. What?
Yeah. Injured another as a form of punishment for his teenage daughter.
Goodness.
No, hold on. Is there a flag on this play? There's no death.
You can throw the flag. It will Deal with it upon review.
All right. Do the story, and we'll go to the break, and I'm going to throw the flag.
Lee County Sheriff's Office deputies responded to Fort Myers home after receiving reports that a man was trying to drown and strike a 2-month-old kitten named Luna.
Goodness. No.
Witnesses identified the suspect as David Charette Jr., and they told deputies that he would abuse and kill the family's kittens in front of his teenage daughter as a form of punishment when she would, quote, act up. The sheriff's office said throughout the investigation they learned that he'd killed 2 kittens in the past year. He's accused of smothering a 1-month-old kitten with a rag soaked in bleach.
Cameron!
And then killed a 3-month-old kitten by burning it with a blow dryer.
What is wrong with you? Would you start playing the music, please? This dude needs to go to prison. Cameron needs to go to prison.
He's a nincompoop.
That's evil.
He's a sick man.
He's a sicko.
He was.
Wow.
Well, his teenage daughter's not acting up anymore.
No, there's no. I need audience participation. We said no death.
See, Matt, this is what happens when you say these incendiary things. Like every time you say Friday Eve, you kill a puppy. Somebody goes out and kills that puppy.
Yeah. Think of how many puppies you've killed.
I believe that Matt.
Don't say it.
That
I'm
Matt
saying
is
this
the
guy's
nincompoop.
this guy's a nincompoop. That's not how you punish your teenage daughter.
Oh, we're not. Cameron's DQ'd. Nobody vote for Cameron. That's awful. It's 56 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I got to go wash my mouth out or something or another. I got to wash my ears out with soap.
He didn't eat the kittens.
We're back after this. Those extra inches, bulges where you don't want bulges can make you feel uncomfortable in your clothing and uncomfortable in your own skin. When you don't feel your best, sadly, it's hard to project confidence. Let's do something about this. Our friends at Contours LLC in Franklin have been helping transform people and their bodies for well over 5 years now. They have a proven track record. This red light technology works, friends. And don't trust me, know that I understand that it works because I'm not just a spokesperson. I'm also a client of Contours LLC. Best of all, right now, you make the call. You can try this for less than $100, $99. And if you don't lose at least 2 inches around the midsection, it's free. You've heard me. Free. That's right. Give a call that so many others have made. You'll be happy you did. Schedule that appointment with Contours LLC, and let's get to losing the weight and losing the inches. 615-236-9960. 615-236-9960. Once again, first 10 callers, you get $99 Belly Buster special available at Contours LLC. What do you have to lose but inches with Contours LLC?
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. I can tell you that heat advisory's been extended until Sunday night. And a deadly military helicopter crash in Texas today sparked a wildfire that forced the evacuation of nearby homes. Bell County Sheriff's Office spokesman Cliff Coleman says the chopper from Fort Hood went down in a grassy area.
This was an Apache helicopter, and 2 souls were on board. They were pronounced deceased.
Election 2026 in Tennessee. Tennessee Republican nominee for governor Marsha Blackburn telling WTN's Matt Murphy Show.
Priority number one, coming from the people of this state, is the issue of affordability.
And
I've got some thoughts about things we can do when it comes to achieving affordable housing and trying to get some builders into the state, trying to get some property that we can use.
Yeah, she wants to reduce barriers to home construction by simplifying permitting and reducing regulatory obstacles to building homes. She says the more homes, that could mean lower prices. Well, this didn't take long. A violent start to the school year in the suburbs of Atlanta. Houston County Sheriff, actually that's Houston County Sheriff Matt Moulton.
What we know so far is there was a group of students inside the bathroom and a verbal altercation took place between 2 of the students. That verbal altercation quickly escalated into a physical altercation, and at some point in time, a firearm was brandished by one of the students, and he shot another student.
Yeah, that student went to the hospital, the other one arrested. Back here in Middle Tennessee, we're learning more about the hot car death of a toddler in Cheatham County yesterday. Channel 4 says the child was left in the care of a teenager who was also taking care of an infant. And the teen didn't know when the toddler had left the home and then got into that broken down van on the property. One of the siblings later found that child in that hot van. They tried to resuscitate the child, but that child perished. Get a load of this story out of Arizona, where Alex Stone says a couple is facing child abuse charges for walking with their children in 108-degree temperatures for hours while drunk.
Glendale, Arizona police say the couple had been at Arizona Cardinals training camp. They were intoxicated and decided to walk home with their 2 young children, 2 and 4 years old. The husband and wife were found walking with their children in 108-degree temperatures and allegedly said they had been walking for about 3 hours. Glendale police say the children appeared dehydrated. Police say the dad was combative and belligerent. Both parents were arrested and charged with child abuse. Alex Stone, EBC News.
And the final U.S. troops stationed in Iraq are expected to leave by the end of September, bringing an end to America's military presence there. The mission started in 2003 with the U.S.-led invasion that toppled Saddam Hussein's government. Iraqi and U.S. officials say the coalition's anti-ISIS operations are winding down as Iraqi forces take on a larger role. Future cooperation between the two nations expected to center on security, trade, and development. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, seeing a crash in Dixon County. This is going to be 840 eastbound, just south of I-40 west. Getting through that construction zone in Goodlettsville, that is a parking lot practically. It is brake, tapping, stop and go, northbound 65. It's backed up from Goodlettsville all the way to Madison. Still slow going both directions, 40 between downtown and the 440 split. And then eastbound 24, really don't, you really don't get up to getting home fast to speed until you get past Antioch, because the brake tapping lasts a while there. And then both directions of Briley Parkway right now, actually Harding Place, that is, between 65 and Nolensville Pike, really backed up this hour. I'm Ken Weaver.
All right, as punishment for his transgressions, Cameron has one more segment opportunity, and then we're giving him the boot. That's it.
Yep.
We're not putting up with this anymore.
No. Absolutely not.
People are not very happy with you, and I'm not very happy with you, and I would like to officially change. I know that the voting is closing down, but I would like to officially change my nincompoop, boys. And I know we don't normally do this.
You can't do that, brother.
Mine's Cameron.
Mine's Cameron.
No, Cameron's my nincompoop.
No, Cameron's mine.
Local radio guest decides to bum everybody out at 5:55. Local radio guest Cameron Smith was on the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN when he talked about killing kittens for 5 minutes and bummed everybody out.
I did
exactly
not
what you did.
Kill the kittens.
That's exactly what you did. You bummed everybody out.
I also am a lawyer, and I want to just document how we count the votes is by the names that come in on the text line.
That's not true.
By that definition, I won.
That's not
You
true.
know, I don't think I'm going to win today, so I think Cameron won.
I won. Thank you to all of you who wrote in Cameron. That was really it was sweet of you.
That's an awful story.
It is. I
horrible,
agree.
It's a horrible, horrible story.
Mm.
And I hate it. And I hate that you brought it up. And I don't like you anymore.
Mm. Didn't you bring up parboiling cats at one point?
It was many, many years ago, and I regretted it ever since.
You boiled cats?
No.
Parboiling.
No. What I said was, no, I got accused one time on the radio of not liking cats.
You don't like cats.
And I said at the time that I regret it. I've regretted it every day of my life since I said it. I think it's the only time I've ever had to apologize on the radio.
Really?
I think. I did. I remember my boss came in the next hour and was like, is it really that important to you, or can you just go on the radio and say you're sorry for saying it? Because they were getting so many calls. Because it was just a joke. I'm not even going to repeat the joke.
No, you need to repeat the joke now.
It's just a joke.
It's okay. I talk about the nincompoop. I didn't boil a cat.
Remember
you boiled
what
the
happened
cat?
to me
I did
whenever
not.
I started talking about the woodpeckers, Murphy.
I know. See, I didn't boil a cat. Nobody boiled anything. I've never killed a cat in my life. I love cats. Cats are precious in God's sight. Well,
that's objectively false.
That's just great.
But
I'm trying to swing the pendulum back the other way, boys.
So when did you boil this cat?
I didn't boil any cat.
Was it a calico, tabby, house cat, street cat?
Look, it doesn't matter, because cats, ultimately, I respect cats tremendously, because you can talk about hurting cats, things like that. The moment they have a chance, they'll kill you.
If cats were human-sized, they would hunt us.
Yeah, we domesticated the small ones who couldn't kill us.
Right.
You domesticate the big ones that eat you. Ask Siegfried and Roy. Like, that's how that works.
That's fair.
I'm going to go down some famous cats, and you let me know your opinion on them, Murphy. Cheshire?
As in Alice in Wonderland?
Yeah.
Fan.
Yeah, big
Cat
one.
in the Hat?
Not a fan.
Tony the Tiger?
He's great.
Well played.
Mufasa?
Not a fan.
Scar?
Fan.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Simba?
I rooted for him. Not a fan.
The tiger from Aladdin?
Unaffiliated.
The cat from the... I'm running out of famous cats.
The aristocrats.
The Aristocats.
Cats. Yeah, Aristocats.
Fan. Didn't they fly on a seagull? I think that's correct. They flew on like a bird, some form of bird. Big fan. Wait a minute. No, I'm thinking of I'm thinking of mice. What's that?
Which are different than cats.
What's that cartoon where the mice flew on the bird?
Fievel.
Very confused.
That's the American dream or something.
All right, I'm going to suspend this conversation before we dig the hole too deeply. And here's what I'm going to do, everyone.
You're going to tell the story about how you boiled that cat.
No, I didn't boil any cats. I told a bad joke.
Well, Lipscomb Academy and Riverdale are scrimmaging right now. We got to.
I know you got to get going. Cameron, you shouldn't have done it. I'm wagging my finger at you. You're wrong to do it, and you should apologize. You should apologize to everyone.
I should.
To all the cat lovers out there, what do you have to say to them?
They don't love you back.
What about Garfield?
Still doesn't love you. He likes lasagna.
Lasagna.
No, are you a fan of Garfield?
Not really.
But Garfield's probably the most famous cat.
Is he?
Is there a more famous cat?
The what was that? That Meow Mix cat, whatever it was, the orange tabby.
Yeah. Meow meow meow.
Who's the most famous cat?
Lionel from Thundercats.
No, it can't. It's not Garfield.
It's got to be Garfield. It's got to be. I can't think of a more famous cat.
I feel like there's got to be another one, and I'm just
great. I would have loved to agree with you, but I can't.
All right, real quick, the most important story of the day, obviously, because I've got hashtag Never CNN on right now, and for the last 15 minutes they've been discussing this. Intelligence that led to Donald Trump's plane swap. They're saying that Donald Trump hid in a cargo area that was designed to carry food to and from Air Force One. What do you make of this, Cameron?
Nothing. It is the weirdest thing that and it was something we talked about today on the podcast, All the Best Words,
we did.
Because the survivors of the harrowing incident where they were used as a decoy for the Iranian assassins. What?
Yeah,
what? If they have there's one person on that plane that they are charged to protect.
The President of the United States. That's right. Everyone else is subservient in terms of protection detail.
Yeah, it's great. Like, we would rather you not die, but all things equal, we got to make sure the president's okay.
Yeah, and does not every member of the press understand that? That given the choice between saving the President of the United States of America or the reporter from the New York Times, the reporter from the New York Times is going to be the one that dies if somebody has to die.
Now, what would have been awesome is if there were like 3 news people that got to go on the food truck.
Yeah, sure.
That would have been fun.
That's great.
But come on. This is such a non-story that it's the exasperated, just breathless way they're talking about this. Is like, this is why people hate you.
Yes.
It's because no one thinks that the president and you deserve the same treatment.
Right. And why in the world have you ever thought that? If that's what you think. You are, in the grand scheme of things, you are not important.
Yeah, and it's just, come on. The bigger story here is, was this a credible threat? Are the Iranians that close to being able to hurt the president of the United States?
That's a story.
That's a story. That's concerning.
Yes.
The fact that there was a decoy, not a story.
No.
They do this literally all the time. Whenever they go to Air Force One at Andrews Air Force Base, they have Marine One that gets the president there, and
another guy.
And they have 3 3.
Are there 3 of them?
And they go in different routes.
Yeah,
so
I
if
knew
you
that.
blow up
I knew
one-
there were at least 2 of them, but I guess 3. And if you've never seen this, you'll see multiple Marine ones take off and go in different directions, and you don't know which one has the president on it.
Right.
And that's for a reason.
And so there are people on those decoy helicopters
That
namely
would be shot down.
the pilots.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, that's just kind of part
Well,
of it.
and they're trying to play this little game where they're pitting the president against his cabinet. Like, oh, he left Scott Bessent there, and he left Marco Rubio there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what they couldn't do is they couldn't alert you in the media that they were deplaning all of the officials off the plane, because guess what you would have done? Immediately alerted everyone, including the Iranians.
But they would have believed if Marco Rubio went to the food cart to serve food, because he does everything in the federal government, so it would have been fine.
That's fair. Have you seen the new one with him dressed up like Caroline Leavitt?
It's pretty good.
It's pretty funny. All of them are pretty funny. I know you got to boogie out of here because you're being punished.
Yep.
You have to
exactly.
leave, and you need to think about what you've said and what you've done.
All you cat people sleep with one eye open because that cat's looking at you like a meal.
They'll steal your breath. It's 20 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. There's a big debate going on about the most famous cat ever on the Super Text line. A lot of people are saying Tom and Jerry. It's not even close. I don't think that's even close. Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy, and I do want to spend a minute or two talking to you about the Wellness Institute of Nashville. If you're in pain, I know of a place that can help alleviate said pain, and that is the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Painisbad.com is the website, painisbad.com. Friends, bottom line is this. If you are in any level of pain and you want to get some healing involved, you need to get with the Wellness Institute. They have the spinal decompression special that runs $33 off every visit. They have the Medical Bay 1. They have the Hydro Wave technology. All of this is designed to accelerate healing, to eliminate pain without the need for pills, without the need for shots, without the need for surgery. That's what it is all about. Dr. Kevin Mitchell is a wonderful member of our community. It is his dedicated purpose to eliminate the pain out of your life, to make your life better through a pain-free way of living. And they do it every single day at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Once again, painisbad.com or call 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Hi, friends. Matt Murphy for Efficient Heating and Cooling. You know, it's hard to find someone that you can trust to offer these repairs, especially this time of year. Sadly, there are some that try to take advantage of the heat, and they know that you are desperate to get some cool back in your home if your AC goes out. Jeff Eddy doesn't do this. He doesn't charge you overtime rates, nights or weekends, doesn't believe in them. He charges you the same low rate no matter what day of the week it is, no matter what time of year it might be. And results, they get them at Efficient Heating and Cooling. So if the AC is not running properly, go ahead and make that call. If it's gone out totally, make the call and let them get to you as quickly as humanly possible to find out what ails your system, to get you back up and running, or to recommend a system of replacement. Look, it is a bottom line reality that your AC will go out, and at some point it'll go out with finality, right? And Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling, they don't want to rush you to that moment, but if it comes, they're an Elite Pro partner with Rheem. They can recommend the right unit for you. Jeff Eddy, Efficient Heating and Cooling. Call the man that I trust with my AC and my heater. It's Jeff Eddy. If your AC is not ready, call Jeff Eddy. 615-784-4424, 784-4424, or online at efficienthvac.net. All right, I was looking for Morris the cat, by the way. That was not Meow Mix. That was 9 Lives. Felix the cat has been suggested. Aubie the cat. Felix, Sylvester the cat, and then, of course, Garfield. Heathcliff as well.
Big fan of Garfield.
You are? Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Look, I'm a big fan of the cats. I don't want the cat people to come after me. Go after Cameron, please. We have ejected Cameron from the studio based on his awful nincompoop story. He's been instructed never to do that again. We've told him it was horrible. It was awful. Nincompoops is supposed to be uplifting. It's supposed to lighten the mood. It's supposed to lighten the load. It's supposed to put a smile on your face after a hard day at work. And Cameron, you're just a big bummer.
I'm going to make a negative campaign ad for you.
Okay.
Matt Murphy boils cats alive. Your tabby is not safe if you vote for Matt Murphy.
There's another tagline there that you could use. Just in the interest of the story, because people will get confused. I am a known dog lover, and I've a longtime dog owner, love rescue dogs, have 2 right now, will have more in my future. I don't have anything against cat owners. I'm just not a cat guy. Just not a cat guy. And I was well on record as saying, look, if a cat was as big as you, it would try to eat you. It doesn't really care if you're there or not. Anyway, so cat lovers would get very mad at me. And I got a call one day, and the person that called me accused me of hating cats. And they're like, well, you hate cats. And my response was, I do not hate cats. They're perfectly fine, but you've got to boil them before you put them on the grill. That was the joke that I made. I'm not saying I would make it today. I'm not saying that it's a good joke to make. I'm saying it was wrong then, and it's wrong to bring it up now, Jackson. How dare you? You know what, Jackson? I'm suspending myself for the rest of the show. Re-rack the Marsha interview on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Better Water. So I've told the story about realizing that we needed to probably feed the plants some better water too. But you need to feed yourself as best water as you can possibly get. And if you're frustrated because you're not sure, or if you're pretty convinced that the water that's coming into your home is not exactly what it should be, it's time to call Better Water LLC. It's as simple as that. I mean, they service the hospitals around town. They service the coffee shops around town, and it is high time they served you as well. I brought them out to my home. Robert and the team, Robert was my guy. The team at Better Water LLC came out, and he informed me a couple of things. Number one, he said, your water's pretty good. I would not recommend doing anything for clothes washing or for bathing. You have pretty low levels of chlorine, iron, sulfur, and the like. He did recommend that I put in a reverse osmosis unit under the sink in the downstairs basement area because I like to have a little brown water every now and again down there to take the edge off after work. And with that, you want clean branch, and I've got it now with Better Water LLC. You can have it as well under the sink applications or whole home. They do it all at Better Water LLC. Specialized filters, UV lights, you name it, they do it. Here's the number, 615-355-6063. Online at betterwater.com. 615-355-6063 for Better Water LLC. All right, with that in mind, it's a wonderful opportunity for us to speak to a woman who I believe will be the next governor of the state of Tennessee. She successfully navigated the primary season with a successful victory, obviously, securing, I guess, about 45% of the vote. And we've not had a chance to talk to Senator Marsha Blackburn in some time, and it's always a pleasure to speak with her. Marsha Blackburn joins us on the radio program. Hey, Marsha, how are you?
I am doing great. I was just saying, I thought I was going to get to come in and be in the studio today, and I found out that I wasn't, that I was just in.
Well, you are always welcome, and we've got big plans. We got big plans. I want to get you into studio before November. How about that? Let's do it.
Well, that sounds like a winner to me.
Listen, I know that you're ready to, face forward and focus forward on the general election, and I don't blame you for that. Obviously, November will be here before we know it, but before we get into that, I think it merits just a brief look back over the primary, and many of my listeners, Marsha, want me to talk with you about your decision, your team's decision, not to engage in debates. Now, that's your decision, obviously, and And I don't begrudge you making that decision, despite the fact that there have been many critics, myself included, over your choice not to debate. My question for you is, do you understand the people that are frustrated that you chose not to do that, at least? And can you help us understand why you made that decision?
Sure, absolutely. And every campaign, every candidate makes a decision about what is going to be the best use of their time and how they're going to be able to contact the most people and talk with the most people, the largest number of people. And for us, Matt, it was being in personal contact with people, putting our emphasis there. As you know, we had a very strong grassroots effort, knocking on doors, making those phone calls. We had lots of people that were working polls with us, and that's a choice that every candidate has to make.
And do you have any plans, or is it too early for you to make any decision regarding debating in the general election?
And what we will do is look at what is in front of us. You know, there's a lot of people. There's a Democrat and I think about 10 independents that are on the ballot in November. But let me tell you about the Democrat candidate. This is somebody who is a leftist. They are very much in line with this far left agenda. They're a radical. What we have seen from these DSA campaigns is that they would destroy the country. They would destroy our state. And people in Tennessee don't want that. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be working double, triple, overtime, making certain that our message is out there, that people recall that I stopped that state income tax. That is a big reason that our state has been as economically successful as it has been. And so we'll be out here working every single day, just like we were in the primary.
What, if anything, do you have to say to those, and this is one more question looking back in the primary, and then we'll look forward to the general. Sure. What do you have to say to those who chose to support either a John Rose or a Monty Fritz candidacy about the nature of your candidacy? How do you corral all of those folks back into the tent that is Marsha Blackburn's campaign for governor?
Yeah, and I think it's time to unite. And what we as Republicans and conservatives have to realize is that our movement is bigger than any one candidate or any one campaign. And in order for us to win in November, whether it is my race, our Senator Haggerty's race, our state house, state senate races that are going to be up, we need to all be on the same team. And I have talked with both John and Monty, and looking forward to having their support as we work toward victory in November.
Senator Marsha Blackburn, our guest today on the Matt Murphy Radio Show. One of the ways that you spent a good amount of money during the primary campaign, and some of your time, was to talk about China. And I understand the overall premise, but I'm a little confused because both you and Congressman Rose discussed China and preventing China from purchasing Tennessee farmland. And I'm a little bit confused because I thought we handled that situation in 2024 in the General Assembly. A law was passed preventing China from purchasing farmland. So what, if anything, further do you want to do as governor of the state to potentially prevent anything down the road?
Well, what we have to realize that China is a threat, whether we're talking economics, whether we're talking trade, whether we're talking they're trying to purchase our farmland. They are a threat. And we do have provisions that are on the books. And as we look at strengthening these provisions, it's, you know, Matt, it's like several things that we have. We've got good provisions on the books, and we can strengthen those when it comes to illegal immigration, when it comes to issues around educating our children when it comes to bell, another issue that we talked about. But China wants to control our lives. They want all the data that is on our phones. They are wanting to create a virtual you of each and every person. When you look at what they're doing economically, we've got a lot of businesses here in Tennessee that tried to manufacture with China. And what did China do? They stole their intellectual property. We have entertainers. What did China do? They stole that intellectual property, and they have made those knockoffs. Look at what they've done to Gibson Guitar. Look at what they're doing, coming in here, using shell companies, buying up property, and going to do God knows what with that. So, of course, China is a threat, and we're smart to be aware of it and smart to close off any avenue that they're using. I'll say this also. These Confucius Institutes that all of our universities in the state have now ended those, and most of our schools have ended these Confucius classrooms. This is propaganda. You look at the way they are using soft propaganda, and Matt, the thing is, they admit it. They admit that that's what they're doing. When you look at the sister cities programs, we've got one city in Tennessee I know that partners up with China on the sister city program. But you know what they say about those? They are using that as soft propaganda. And when you participate with China, they want you to honor Chinese law. Well, a lot of countries have outlawed being in these partnerships with China.
Should we look into businesses that have relationships with the Chinese government in terms of ownership?
Absolutely, 100%.
Because it's my understanding that the General Assembly had a bill last year that got killed. You would be supportive of relooking at that and looking at ways that we can eliminate Chinese ownership of Tennessee businesses?
Absolutely, we should. And, you know, whether it's the farmland, whether it is buying these businesses, and like I said, part of the problem has become that they use these shell companies. And if you insert applying that CFIUS process, which is a federal process, to make certain you're ferreting out these companies that are hiding behind this shell and then trying to come in and buy these different companies. Look at what they do. They come in, they buy, a company gets bought, and they say, oh, there are going to be no changes. Well, lo and behold, a year down the road, there are changes, and they begin to shrink the size of that manufacturing. Then it shrinks over the next year or so, and before you know it, it's over in Beijing or Shanghai or somewhere, and you don't have any of that manufacturing domestically. And I'll tell you this is one of the things that President Donald Trump has done a good job of saying, let's repatriate this manufacturing, whether it's additive manufacturing, advanced manufacturing, component part manufacturing, electronics. Let's repatriate this to the United States so we bring these jobs back on shore.
One quick question, Senator, about your Senate role, and then I want to move on to a few questions about your government or your role as governor of the state. You participated in, it's my understanding, several of these pro forma Senate sessions so that the Senate does not ever officially go into recess. Can you help me understand what the purpose of those sessions were? Because it felt like it was to prevent Donald Trump from appointing recess appointments. And I just want to understand what the purpose of those pro forma sessions were.
Matt, I haven't presided over any of those pro forma.
So you haven't been a part of it? Okay, but
I have not. I was one of the 20 that said we should stay there all of August. But I have not presided over a single one of those.
Do you support those pro forma sessions?
No, I thought we should have stayed there. And when we recess, we should recess. Every president has the opportunity during recess to make those appointments. So
Do you
whoever told you that?
Okay, well, very good. Well, thank you for disabusing me of that notion. Do you regret your support of Majority Leader Thune?
You know, the Senate is going every 2 years to pick a leader. I had supported Rick Scott, and Rick is a part of what we have as our steering committee, which is the conservatives in the Senate. It is Rick Scott, it's Ron Johnson, Ted Cruz, Mike Lee, Cynthia Lummis, Ashley Moody, and me. And we're the executive committee for steering committee.
Okay.
And I had supported Rick,
Okay.
and he was our guy. He didn't win. And then you have John Thune, who won.
Let's talk data centers. I mean, obviously, this goes to the heart of your comment about China, and I understand that data centers have become a big deal for a lot of people, and I compare them kind of to the dump. Marsha, that everybody knows we need one. Everybody knows we need to put our trash somewhere and to safely dispose of our trash, but nobody wants it near us. And I feel like data centers have become the modern version of that. But they are also necessary because the data has to be stored somewhere. And in the modern era, we all utilize them whether we know it or not. What is your position as governor of the state of Tennessee on the data center debate?
Yeah, and I liken data centers to very much what the factories of 100 years ago were. And we've got counties and cities in the state that want them, and we have areas that that do not want to have them. So most of this is going to be a local zoning issue. And you're right, the data has to be stored somewhere. You cannot have it end up in Beijing, and you don't want the Chinese to have it. You don't want them to build a virtual you of you and your family and following your kids. And you're going to see the opportunity for the state to weigh in. I think that having a state-level ratepayer protection plan for electric rates, this is something that President Trump has wanted to do federally, as we have looked at AI frameworks and protections for people, but protecting communities and consumers from those high electric rates if a data center comes in. That is something that we need to pass. Jack Johnson and I have talked about the need to do that. Also, I've worked with some, and Stuart McWhorter's been great on this. We need to have some process in place that would be a certification of certain metrics you need to hit for areas to house data centers. I don't know exactly what that is going to look like, but just as we have looked at different manufacturing opportunities that have come in the state, we need to have that certified process so that you can say this would be a certified area. This is a community that wants it for these reasons, and they have met these state metrics that would make it a certified location.
Several of your friends who have acted as surrogates for you, I know your Treasury Secretary during the primary, Glenn Jacobs, as well as Tim Burchett, a great congressman from over in the Knoxville area, have come out and have publicly stated their objection to flock camera technology and their concerns about flock camera technology. Do you share those concerns, and can you tell us what your current position is on this and what it would be as governor?
Yeah, of course we're very concerned about anything that would lead to 24-hour-a-day surveillance, absolutely. And you look at the LPRs, and law enforcement says we need those license plate readers. But I'm going to tell you what, Matt, we cannot have anything that leads to like what the Chinese have done with these social credit scores. To me, that is a very frightening thought. And I was talking with somebody earlier today, and we were talking about this issue. And of course, I think this is something where you're going to see local governments weigh in. I think the state's going to have the opportunity to weigh in. Using these for surveillance is already a felony offense, but obviously there is something more that is going to have to be done, because we do not want anything that would ever lead to that kind of infringement of an individual's privacy.
Number one, and I know we only have a minute or two left, but number one priority, should you be the 51st governor of the state of Tennessee? I mean, I'm looking at so many different issues. You mentioned bell-to-bell, no cell. That's a continuation of an effort to get the technology out of the hands of the students and get them back to book learning. We've got infrastructure backlogs of, it's my understanding that road and bridge backlogs are about $40 billion now. What would your priority be? What's priority number one that comes to mind, Marsha?
Priority number one, coming from the people of this state, is the issue of affordability and making certain that the cost of living gets under control, that housing is going to be affordable. And I've got some thoughts about things we can do when it comes to achieving affordable housing and trying to get some builders into the state, trying to get some property that we can use. We want, Matt, for me, and you know how I feel about opportunity for young people. We want Tennessee to be the state of opportunity. We want this to be the state where young people say, that's for us. That is where we're going to go. And it means we've got to have housing that is affordable, that we've got to have jobs that are going to pay the type wages that are going to be necessary for these young people to have and grow their families here, to build their careers here, to someday retire here, to have their children want to come back to Tennessee. And looking at how we can do that, how we can increase the housing, how we can get this cost of living down, that is the number one issue. It is followed closely by public safety. And the third thing is education, world-class education for kids in every county across this state.
Well, I know we're just scratching the surface. I look forward to many of these conversations moving down the road. One final question from me today, and then we'll let you go. Senator, what as you're about to retire your service within the Senate in the federal government, and I think move on to be the governor of the state of Tennessee. I think most of us believe that. What are you proudest of in terms of your Senate service?
Oh, my goodness. We have served the people of this state so well. And getting to be in every county in this state every year has just been an amazing opportunity, working with people, solving their problems. This is something that I absolutely treasure. We are a great state with great people, and the work we've done protecting children, Kids Online Safety Act, and I was thrilled we got that out of the Senate. Making certain that I was able to achieve that provision in the big, beautiful bill last year that took the federal income tax off of Social Security earnings for most of our citizens. That was enormous. We had thousands of Tennesseans that used that provision. So those are things that we've done a lot of work on and have loved working with Tennesseans every single day.
Well, congratulations on the primary victory. Look forward to November. Look forward to many conversations from now until then. And thank you for spending a bit of time with us today, Marsha.
Oh, appreciate it. Take care. Bye now.
All right. Take care. There's Senator Marsha Blackburn joining us. We'll get some thoughts on that conversation. Obviously, did not scratch the surface on infrastructure, did not scratch the surface on education, the Education Freedom Scholarship, wanted to talk about usury rates in the state of Tennessee. I mean, there's so many different things that we could talk about, just out of time. 34 after the hour. We'll continue in a moment on Super Talk. Friends, when you make the call that so many others have made to U.S. Pest, you get professionals to your home. J.K. and Erica Brister guarantee it. They also guarantee that they're going to eliminate the bugs that are bugging you out of your life. That's the bottom line. When you call a pest control service, you expect that with regular visits, they're going to eliminate bug infestation, no matter what kind of bug it might be. And they get it done at U.S. Pest. They have a 100% money-back guarantee on all the things that they perform and all the things that they do, from termite protection, prevention, and corrective measures. Also, any and all bugs that might be in your home, from roaches to spiders to silverfish to all the other types of bugs that might come into your home. And these bugs, they don't care what you want. They just want what they want. They want your food. They want to take up residence. They want your cool air. And they're going to get it if you allow it to happen. Let's not allow that to happen. Call J.K. and Erica Brister. I love saying this about them. They love the United States of America. They have an American flag over every billboard you see around town. And you'll see their flag waving proudly in the background when they're on with us on Talk TV. They also hate bugs. So love America. Hate bugs at U.S. Pest. Go online at uspest.com, uspest.com right now, or call 590-1260. Once again, 590-1260. When you make the call, tell the folks at U.S. Pest that Matt Murphy told you to contact them at U.S. Pest.
Times are tough. Absolutely, I agree. Now, if you need a new truck or a minivan, maybe an SUV, Mid-10 Ford, they can help you out with great selection, terrific pricing as well. Mid-10 Ford, they've been around for 56 years, since 1969, helping people get the vehicle that is right for them. They can help you save $1,000 or more on select Ford trucks. They also offer special financing as well if you need it. Now, Mid-10 Ford, I like to say that they're a one-stop shop. You can buy your vehicle there at Mid-10 Ford. You can get it serviced. They have a body shop as well. So you want a brand new or a pre-owned vehicle, you can check out all of the great deals at their website, mid10fordtrucks.com. That's mid10fordtrucks.com. They offer low-pressure sales, maximum customer service if you show up at their business, 1319 Foster Avenue. This is a family-owned business going back 4 generations. So, yeah, they do know how to treat customers. So let them help you get into your next vehicle. Again, low-pressure sales, maximum customer service. Find them online, mid10fordtrucks.com. That's mid10fordtrucks.com. Let their family take care of your family.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy with Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and this morning we are out and about at my house, my brand new house that I've been talking about on the radio, with Nate from USS. What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm excellent. How about you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
We invited Nate out. Now, obviously, when you're a new homeowner, especially when you buy a house that's got a few years on it, you don't know what you're dealing with in terms of foundation. And I know that Nate knows a lot more about what I don't see and what I don't know about than I do. So bring the experts out and get them to check out your house. Hey guys, Matt Murphy again with Nate with USS, and Nate has just wrapped up kind of a look at the house. And Nate, what'd you find?
Well, your house is in pretty good shape for the age of it. I had to look pretty hard to find.
Okay.
Your house being on a slope like it is here, I think we could do a lot of good by trying to terminate your downspouts a little further from the house there.
Okay.
Roof water is the killer of foundations, and so if we can just get it to a positive grade to drain away from your house, I think that's real cheap insurance.
You want to kind of get it out and downhill.
That's right. Yeah.
That's
So
the idea.
make sure that it doesn't come right back down towards the foundation walls, causing issues, settlement, or leakage.
Now, if folks are watching this video and they are like, we need to get Nate out to the house to do a look. I mean, it took, I watched you do it. It's, about 30, 45 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
To do a comprehensive kind of an examination around the house. And they just give you a call and schedule?
Yeah, absolutely. You can call our main phone number, or you can call reach USSTN.com and schedule right through the website there. Our girls in the call center will get back to you just about immediately, as long as it's during business hours. So
this just makes a lot of sense, folks, for you guys to do an examination of your house like we've done, to check it out. I'm going to get those gutters done with Nate and his team at USS, and then we'll do a video and let you know how those look at the end of all of this. So thank you, guys.
Hey, that'd be great.
We appreciate you, brother.
Matt,
All
we
right.
appreciate you.